Bacon, sausage, the tasty surprises, like real buttermilk biscuits and real... sticky buns, sir.
Come back, Ludlow. We've got work to do.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry?
I'm so impressed with their all-you-care-to-eat breakfast bar, I got a job at Shoney's.
But you're my best busboy.
Shoney's is my destiny.
But, son...
See you, Dad. Tell Mom all right, okay?
Okay.
Check out Shoney's Breakfast Bar every morning, but most of all on Football Friday mornings when we bring you the Coach's Breakfast from Shoney's at Turner Lake and Highway 278.
The Farm and Garden Depot is your headquarters for feed and seed. The Farm and Garden Depot at 4125 Emory Street has most all of the fall grass seed, including wheat, rye, and clover. They also have fall deer mix, squirrel corn, and deer corn. The Farm and Garden Depot is located on Emory Street across from the depot. Call them today, 787-3870. 787-3870. The Farm and Garden Depot, your headquarters for feed and seed.
Get quality printing and save money at Rhodes Printing Company in Covington. Save a little here and a little there, and the money really adds up in the long run. If you're concerned about quality printing at reasonable prices, Rhodes Printing is where you should have your printing done. Rhodes Printing has a reputation for quality printing for over 20 years. So whether it's business cards or forms, company letterheads and envelopes, make sure Rhodes Printing Company in Covington is your business printer. That's Rhodes Printing.
We're back on the Newton Ram Tailgate Show. I'm Todd Q. Chapman. Yes, your pregame host extraordinaire. This week on Inside the Numbers, we take a look at past and present Newton Ram teams. Exactly 7 teams, including this season's team, have gone 3-0. That's the 1950 Rams, the 53 Rams, 64, 81, 90, 94, and yes, this season's football teams. Only 2 of the preceding 6 teams have gone on to 4-0 records. This year's team could become the 3rd ever in 46 years at Newton High School. Yes, in 46 years of Newton Ram football, there have only been 2 teams to go 4-0. In 1950, the Rams started out 4-0. They finished 7-3. Well, guess what? In 1981, that being Paul Dailey's senior year, yes, they started 4-0 and finished, amazingly enough, 7-3. Last season at this time, the Newton Rams traveled to Lithia Springs with a 3-0 record and their heads in the clouds. The problem is their heads started to shower. They were a little too happy. It rained and rained and rained, rained some more and some more. Finally, the game was delayed a little while. Lithia won the game 10-9. Newton had a new face step up for them, though. They certainly needed it because Cordell Benton gained only 8 yards on 11 carries, and Jason Robbins didn't even play. Patrick Gaither, yeah, I think we've heard that name a time or two this season, carried the ball 23 times for 95 yards. He possibly could repeat that performance this season. Maybe so. Lithia Springs finished last season with a 5-5 record. Head coach Homer Hector returns 9 starters on offense and 5 on defense. In the head-to-head meetings, Lithia Springs, surprisingly enough, leads the Lifetime Series 2-1. But Newton has outscored Lithia Springs by 11 points, as a matter of fact, 50-39. In our stat of the week, the Newton Rams defense has given up 782 yards, 782 yards so far this season. They're 3-0. They've only gained 702 yards on offense, though. I don't know. I've always been told defense wins games. So far, it seems to be the offense isn't doing much. First downs. The Newton Rams have 32 first downs. Not too bad. The opposition has 40. Well, here's a stat. The Newton Rams only 12 penalties where the opposition has 13. When we come back on the Newton Ram Tailgate Show, we'll have the head coach, Jack Cook, being interviewed by Kevin Holden right here.
When you need insurance, here's the first thing.
Sweatshirts, hats, jackets, and much more at Ludy's Sports Shop. They can do screen printing for churches, schools, and other groups. They also sell baseball cards. They sell shoes at Ludy's Sports Shop. And they also sell hats. That's Ludy's Sports Shop, located on Highway 278, 787-3014.
It's Summer Savers at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the square in Covington. Check out these great buys. From Heath Zenith, a wireless door chime, only $9.99. From GE, 48-inch fluorescent tubes, only $1.99 and a $1.30 rebate available. Also, Ace duct tape, only $3.33, and If Great Stuff foam sealant, only $2.99. Incredible bargains, summer savers at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the Square in Covington.
Where can you find the best entertainment on television? On HBO, on Covington Cable TV. HBO features the best in box office movies, the best original movies, the best in entertainment. For HBO, call Covington Cable TV at 385-2044. For the best in movies, the best in entertainment, it's HBO. Call Covington Cable TV, 385-2044. 385-2044.
If you're considering a cellular phone, go ahead, shop around, check out all the deals. But when it comes to cellular experience, product selection, and the most important thing of all, service after the sale, East Metro Communications stands alone. They're this area's oldest cellular agent, and now, for your convenience, they're open on Saturdays from 10 to 2. Go by and let Brenda, Tom, Bert, or Joe tell you about their latest promotion. That's at East Metro Communications, conveniently located at Highway 278, a quarter-mile east of Newton General, 786-6796, an authorized agent for AirTouch Cellular.
We're back on the Newton Ram Tailgate Show. I'm Todd Q. Chapman, your host and executive producer of Newton Ram Football. It's now time for the Region Roundup, a peek at last week's scores, the current standings, and this week's slate. Some pretty big games last week in Region 8 Quad A. For starters, Newton flattened Heritage 34-10. You'll hear a little more about that from Kevin and Paul. Number 6 Parkview defeated Jonesboro 34-13. Brett Milliken, for the third straight game this season, has rushed for over 100 yards. He had 131 yards and 3 touchdowns in the victory. Number 11 Clark Central defeated Lithia Springs 35-19. It was head coach Billy Henderson's 278th victory. Michael Greer, wide receiver for Clark Central, had 114 yards on 4 catches and a touchdown. South Gwinnett pounded Brookwood 48-19. It was the first victory for South Gwinnett over Brookwood in 11 years. Shiloh shut out Central Gwinnett 14-0. Monroe area whipped Winder Barrow 44-7. And in other games in Region 8 Quad A, Meadow Creek, yes, Meadow Creek, defeated Berkmar. Rockdale lost to Stockbridge, and Habersham lost to Stevens County. Currently in Region 8 Quad A, there are 2 teams in 8 Quad A North with undefeated records, those being Clark Central at 3-0 and Norcross 2-0. Meadow Creek, yes, Meadow Creek is 2-1. Heritage, Central Gwinnett, and South Gwinnett all 1-2, and Habersham brings up the rear at 0-2. In 8 Quad A South, Newton and Parkview so far are 3-0, and there isn't anyone even close. Winder at 1-1. We've got Brookwood, Shiloh, and Rockdale all having disappointing seasons at 1-2. Well, Berkmar's 0-3. On the weekend schedule, Parkview hosts Central Gwinnett. Brad Williams, wide receiver for Central Gwinnett, is out for the season with a broken leg. Clark Central travels to Brookwood. Rockdale plays at McIntosh. Heritage takes on Salem at Reed Stadium. The Meadow Creek Mustangs hoping to go 3-1. When's the last time they won 3 games in a season? Well, they don't even know. They travel to Troup County. Norcross looks to go 3-0 against Shiloh tonight. Winder Barrow hits the road to Gainesville to face Johnson. Berkmar hosts Decula. Berkmar hoping, just hoping for their first win of the season. And South Gwinnett has the week off. When we come back, yes, it's time for Newton Ram football.
You've been listening to the Newton Ram Tailgate Show, an inside look at tonight's game, as well as all the action in Region 8 Quad A. Now, get ready. The war is about to begin. Newton Ram football is right around the corner on your station for Ram Sports. WGFS, AM 1430.
Fundamental money management begins with learning how to save. And at Newton Federal, our Passbook Savings Account is the perfect fit for attractive rates and access to your funds. And everyone loves having a nest egg to rely on for those rainy days. Newton Federal Savings and Loan, FDIC insured, 3175 Highway 278, Covington.
Charles Evans Nissan would like to remind you the summer's almost over, and so is the opportunity to get sizzling savings on specially selected vehicles. Stop in for a test drive before the sun sets on this super sale. A 1994 Nissan pickup, only $10,995. Red hot deals on cars ranging from an 88 Honda CRX to a 95 Nissan Maxima, and dozens more. Charles Evans Nissan, 1420 Irish Drive off exit 41 in Conyers, 922-7600.
It's time for exciting Newton County Rams football on WGFS AM 1430. Ram football is brought to you by Bulldog Tire, Coast to Coast Home and Auto, Covington Cable TV, Newton Federal Savings and Loan, Mayfield Ace Hardware, the Bank of Covington, East Metro Communications, Ludi Sports Shop, Shoney's Restaurant, Steele Jones Insurance Agency, and Charles Evans Nissan. And now we take you to the gridiron live with Kevin Holden and Paul Dailey.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Homer Sharp Stadium. Tonight it's the Newton Rams looking to stay undefeated in 1995. Their opponent this time around, the Lithia Springs Lions. As you know, Lithia Springs put a glitch in 1994 when the Rams were 3-0 and headed to Lithia Springs. The Lions beat the Rams 10-9. Rams ended up 3-1 after that and 7-3 for the season. And Paul Dailey, the Rams this time will look to avenge that loss.
I guarantee you, Coach Cook has reminded them about the last year's defeat against the Lithia Springs. And this team is ready, it's fired up, the seniors are leading them, and I guarantee you, Coach Cook, even though he had to miss a couple of days of practice this week, he's got this team fired up and reminded them, let's not let what happened to us last year happen again here in front of our home stands.
Bear in mind, these Rams of Newton High School are ranked 12th in the state of Georgia, and right above them in the polls, Clark Central. They're 3-0, also at ranked number 11 in the state, and a lot of 8 Quad A teams are making a mark here. You know about Parkview, who is ranked number 6 or 7, depending on which poll you look at. Clark Central at 11, Newton at 12. Not that bad. 8 Quad A is a tough region, and Lithia Springs trying to gain the experience against those.
It's a very good region, and Lithia Springs, I have a lot of respect for their coach for coming up and playing some teams in the 8 Quad A, like, for instance, Clark Central and Newton County. It gives them, it's going to do nothing but make them better. And it was a big lift for them last year when they came in front of their home crowd and beat Newton County on by 10-9 score. But it's going to be a little bit tougher task here in front of the home crowd for Newton County. Lithia Springs got a lot of work cut out for them, but I'll tell you what, it's a great idea for their coach to bring them up and play some of these early games against tougher competition, because it's only going to make them better.
And Homer Hector, as we mentioned before, went to Clark Central, played there, and coached there before going down to Lithia Springs and coached under Billy Henderson. So you can guarantee that he was looking for something last week, but came up a little short against the number 11 team in the state. The Lithia Springs Lions are, well, they're just now breaking through their banner, and Paul, this team has never been known for excess in numbers in terms of the football program, and it looks like the same is true this year.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough time. Luckily for them, tonight is a very cool night, and I know a lot of their players definitely have to go both ways. We have no idea. We have no idea who's starting. We're kind of going to have to play it by ear to give you the names and numbers of the team, the players from Lithia Springs, but from the looks from the sideline, there's not a whole lot of players over there, so there's definitely a lot of those guys that are going to be both ways playing special teams, so look for Lithia Springs to be tired. Coach Cook has a little bit of the same problem. He has a lot of talented players, and he has to play them on both sides as well.
Well, we have not any idea who's starting, because even the Lithia Springs coaches said they wouldn't have any idea because a lot of Lithia Springs players are hurt. However, we do have our freshly made, hot off the press roster for the Lithia Springs Lions, and so we'll at least be able to give you some names. And back to receive is Sadaka Favors. He's only a freshman. Also Shane Head. Here's the kick from Stephen Smith, and this one is end over end and 6 yards into the end zone. Favors takes it there, and they'll be out on the 20-yard line, so Stephen Smith continues that adrenaline rush that he had against Heritage last week.
I tell you what, he got a really good leg into that kick and kicked it deep into the end zone, and automatically in high school football, if you catch it in the end zone, it's an automatic touchback, and you bring the ball out to the 20. So, you know, your players don't even have to get banged up or bruised up running down the field, especially when your kicker can do that.
And here comes Lithia Springs from their own 20. Prepare, Paul Dailey. We may have a long first drive in front of us here. Chad Samples, one of the wide receivers. The other one looks like Jason Ledford. Shane Head, the quarterback. Benjamin is one of the running backs. And on first down, it looked like a missed handoff. And Shane Head literally tripped and fell down for about a 5-yard loss. It looked like he was looking for one of his backs who wasn't there.
What happened was he just stepped back to give the handoff to his running back and tripped over his center. The center got stuffed, and he just backed over him and ended up tripping up his own quarterback.
So 2nd down and 15 for Lithia Springs. This Newton Ram defense last year in the first 4 games allowed only the 6 points at home. But then the last game against Parkview allowing the 42, and they had trouble with Mount Zion on the defensive side 2 weeks ago here at Homer Sharp Stadium. On the 2nd down, taking the ball is Jason Ledford. Ledford, the sophomore, gains back to about the 20-yard line, so here comes 3rd down, a long yardage situation for the Lithia Springs Lions. Not exactly how they'd like to start it on the road.
Good play there by Alex Watley to come up and play support on the pitch to the weak side of the field. Came up, made a good face-up tackle, brought the man back for a loss, and he gained a few yards on the play, but actually, brought him back after Alex Watley hit him. So it's going to be 3rd down and called a long 10 yards.
So with the ball back on the 20-yard line, Shane Head, the junior quarterback, he was the man in charge of this Lion offense last year when they upset the Newton Rams out at Lithia Springs. 10-9 was your final. A lot of moments you can point to in that one. Man goes in motion here for Lithia Springs. Benjamin takes the football and tumbles and falls forward for a couple of yards, and here comes 4th down and 8, and the Rams may get the football in good field position.
I tell you what, the Lithia Springs line will have a really tough time running against that front of Newton High School. Greg Benson, Emilio Reed, Havius White, and Nikita Webb. They're doing a great job all season of stopping the up-the-middle drives, and the Benjamin kid had a tough time getting through.
In the first half last week, Heritage had 5 drives, 3 turnovers, and 2 punts. So the Ram good first half defense continues. This punt here from Matt Drobish goes out toward midfield and is taken at the 46 by Danny Cisco. Cisco breaks one tackle, now breaks another, stays up inside the 40, brought down at the 39-yard line. The punt goes for 45 yards, and Cisco's return at least 15 as the Rams are inside the Lithia 40.
I think the only person that realized that Danny Cisco was going to pick up that ball was Danny Cisco. Everybody else was kind of waiting around, and all of a sudden he just picks up the ball and brings it back up the field for 15 yards. So good play, risky play, but a good play on his part.
Cisco's had 25 yards on his last 2 punt returns, so bear that in mind. Newton and Lithia territory at the 39. Richie Cleary leading this offense, trying to stay undefeated in 1995. On first down, they're going to give to Tyrus Hardiman. Hardiman playing fullback. And starting this affair, he has about a 3-yard gain on first down, just 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Well, what that play right there is kind of a filler play. Richie Cleary's looking over here to the sideline to find out who's covering the pitch man, because Coach Cook said earlier this morning that they were going to run a little bit of option, and that's something Richie Cleary hadn't done all year, is run the option to any extent. And right there, they ran like a straight dive, almost an option, and Richie Cleary knows now who's going to be taking him on the pitch, and it's going to be the defensive end.
The Rams' leading rusher, Jonathan Price, also in that backfield, 312 yards in 3 games this year on only 54 carries. We'll see a lot of him tonight, I'm sure. Cleary's looking to throw here on second down. It's out of the hands of Stephen Smith and incomplete. That one looked like it was Smith's fault. Looked like it was in his sights. Maybe he took his eyes off the ball at the last second.
I'm not really sure what happened there. Stephen Smith is one of the best receivers that you're going to see on the ball field. Him and Danny Cisco have great hands. Saw Danny drop a few last week, and I'm sure Coach Cook talked to him about that this week. But first pass play of the game, Stephen drops one, and I tell you what, it looks like Stephen's dropped a lot of weight. I don't know. He looks like he's definitely smaller than the first game, and he's a kind of a small person anyway. We need to bring him over to McDonald's and give him a couple of Whoppers, I believe.
Maybe we'll invite him to Shoney's for the coach's breakfast several weeks in a row, and he can have the all-you-can-eat breakfast bar there. Price is one of the men out here on third down, and Cleary finally sees him but throws well over his head. As you know, Jonathan Price is a short guy standing out there at the 28, but he was all alone for a long time, and Cleary didn't spot him until it was too late.
Pretty good rush there by the defensive front for Lithia Springs. Even though the offensive line regrouped and provided a little bit of more protection for Richie Cleary, he just didn't spot Jonathan in time. And actually, if he would have threw the ball up to Stephen Smith was running a streak down the sideline and was wide open. But that's going to bring Stephen in, and he's going to punt it away.
Well, this punt, with the ball sitting at the 36-yard line of Lithia Springs, means that Lithia is going to be far, far back in their own territory. And Smith has had some good luck on punts, had some trouble last week. This punt goes up, and it's a nice-looking one. It is going to bounce into the end zone and out there, and so the ball will be taken at the 20-yard line. A 36-yard punt for Smith. Now, so far this year,
Smith is averaging about 35 yards on a punt, but as you know, he had one of 55 and another one of 45 last week, Paul.
Yeah, Stevens done a good job of punting. One of the concerns that Coach Cook expressed this morning was the point after touchdown, the extra point conversion, and they've been having a tough time doing that. They practiced really hard on that this week, and Stevens doing a good job punting. Hopefully everything can click for them tonight.
Rams were only 1 out of 5 in extra points last week, making them now 5 out of 10 for the year, 50% ratio. Benjamin takes it on first down. And the Newton Ram defensive front didn't let Benjamin go anywhere, and he may not have had any gain at all. In fact, the spot will be at the 20, so no gain.
Good job there by Habeas White and also Nikita Webb to stop that penetration on the left side of Lithia Springs' offense. I was noticing this morning, Greg Benson was there at the coach's breakfast, and he probably has some of the biggest arms I've seen on a high school athlete. It doesn't look that big from here, but as you see him in person, he is humongous. He's going to be somebody that's going to be playing a lot of football on Saturday.
Benson gives kind of a menacing stare, even when he's not on the football field. Makes you kind of nervous. 2nd down and 10 for the Newton Rams, and Shane Head is going to look for a man downfield. It's up and complete to the 30, the 35-yard line. That was Matt Drobish, probably his tight end. He is a junior.
Good completion there for Lithia Springs. Greg Benson, the one we were just talking about, had a pretty good rush. Arrived a little bit late. Was lucky he didn't get a roughing the passer kick. But I guarantee you, number 10, Shane Head, is going to feel that hit for a little while. He's going to know 58 was in his face. But big completion and a good first down for the Lithia Spring Lions.
7:33 remaining in the first quarter. We're here at Homer Sharp Stadium. If you're in the area, drop on by. Check out the number 12 team in the state, the undefeated Newton Rams. And Benjamin is going to take the ball here once again on first down and breaks a couple of tackles and cuts inside the 40 to the 43 as Lithia tries this sustained drive here in the first quarter. They had a couple of those last year in the game against Newton. And once again, Benjamin, last year, Leonard Benjamin, 153 yards on 15 carries, but 104 of them on only 2 of those plays.
Yeah, real big back, and the same thing happened last week against Clark Central. He had 2 big runs for 180 yards, so he's a quality back, but he's got a lot of explosive power once he gets open, kind of like Jonathan Price.
2nd down and a short, long 3, short 4 here for the Lions. Shane Head's going to take the football, and everybody was looking at Benjamin, but meanwhile, Head is past midfield and inside the 40. Finally, he's brought down well into Newton territory at the 37-yard line, so they keyed so much on Leonard Benjamin that Shane Head, the junior quarterback, took it and just rolled out.
Well, what happened was the quarterback, Shane Head, was really watching how aggressive Habeas White and also Nikita Webb are on that side, and they really just came in a little too quick, and Coach Cook's having a talk with Emilio Reed talking about his pursuit, but they brought in T.J. Harper maybe to slow down that pursuit on the right side of the Newton defense.
Another first down, this one at the Newton 37-yard line. Rams with that big defensive front. Benjamin takes the football, runs right into that defensive front, and nada for him. He may have a gain of a yard, perhaps 2, but the defensive front threw him back after that.
Big face-up tackle there by Jamaico Usher. That's one person that the Lithia Springs Lions are going to have to deal with, and I guarantee you Leonard Benjamin is not going to want to run straight up against Jamaico Usher because Jamaico outweighs him for about 50 pounds. But Patrick Gaither and Jamaico's doing a great job of stabilizing that middle of the defensive front. We got a couple of new guys in there. Number 76 for the Newton Rams. We'll call him Brian Edwards. He's doing a good job. A couple of new faces.
Stephen Smith and Alex Watley at the corners, and Jarvis Johnson, a new face out there in the secondary for the Rams. Taking the ball here is number 30, Calvin Lee. Lee has a couple of yards. He's down toward the 30-yard line, not into first down territory. He's spotted at about the 30.5-yard line. It's a gain of 4. It'll bring up about 3rd down and 4. An important play here for the Newton defense, trying to stop the consistent drive here from Lithia Springs.
Yeah, this is going to bring up a big play, and Lithia Springs had a lot of success on that misdirection play, and look for them maybe to run that same play or maybe something wide over here to Newton's side of the ball field. But Lithia Springs showing a little bit of push here early in the first quarter, pushing the Newton defensive front backwards and causing all kind of confusion there in the linebacker position.
This Lithia Springs team has only a handful of seniors. However, 2 of them are in the backfield. That's a big help for you. Plus a junior with some experience at quarterback. Shane Head gets good pass blocking and now tries to roll out and can't find anything out there. Habeas White with the initial hit, and Greg Benson in on the tackle, and Shane Head, after having good protection for a while, that pocket kind of collapsed on him.
Yeah, Habeas White is probably not the biggest guy in the world. Matter of fact, I look out there and T.J. Harper just simply towers over him, but he's very aggressive. Reminds me a lot of some of the players in the past from Newton County. But I tell you what, he got after it. He went under a couple of blockers and was able to sack Shane Head for a loss.
Matt Drobish in addition to being the tight end, is also the punter and probably one of the biggest punters we've seen. But now here comes the offensive unit back on the field, and Lithia has, 20 players on the field right now. Now that offensive unit comes back off the field.
And not a timeout has been taken, so what they're probably going to do is take a delay here and back them up so they'll have a better shot at putting a punt out, maybe down on the 5 or 10 yard line.
Newton Ram football 1995, yes, the quickest first quarters perhaps in the history of high school football. We already have 3:57, that's it, left in the first quarter, no score, as we're bringing this to you from Homer Sharp Stadium, so it's a 5-yard penalty against Lithia Springs on the delay of game.
Pretty good decision there by the Lithia Springs coaches to go ahead and take a delay and back them up so they'll have a better shot of angling out at the end zone. But that's a pretty poor kick.
And Drobish's punt is nearly straight up in the air. It bounces out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And, Paul, if you take that from the line of scrimmage, that is an 8-yard punt.
Not exactly what the Lithia Springs coaching staff had in mind for their punter number 89, Matt Daubish, to do. But big break there for Newton County is, they're going to have pretty decent field position on their own 30-yard line. And we see a lot of new faces out there. Jarvis number 81 is Jarvis Johnson. He's playing a little bit of defense, and there he is out there on offense as well.
Seems odd because the Lithia Springs kicker looked like he literally turned toward their sideline to kick that football. Well, an 8-yard punt, and Jonathan Price on first down had a hole initially, but the linebackers and secondary broke it about 3 yards in. So Price with about 3 yards here on first down and his first carry of the night.
Every time Jonathan goes through that front of the line of scrimmage, I shake in my shoes because he's a small guy, and there's some big guys up there for Lithia Springs just tattooing him. What you want to do is you want to get Jonathan on the corner, but that's a setup play, basically a setup play, put him through the middle and probably see him on the corner in the next couple plays.
2nd and 7, and notice the Newton Rams in 4 plays from scrimmage have a pair of runs and a pair of passing attempts. Maybe they're trying to open things up a little bit here. Here we go to the pitch to Jonathan Price. Gets a good block. Hits the outside at the 40 to the 45 and out of bounds near midfield. Somebody gave him a terrific block out there and allowed him to cut outside and hit that corner and gain good yardage. That pitch play to Price has worked successfully many times this year.
Well, the play earlier, Kevin, is simply the straight dive is a setup play, and it sets the defense up for maybe another dive. But what happened there was Tyrus Hardeman had a great lead block and allowed Jonathan Price to hit the corner. And whenever he hits that corner, he's going to simply outrun a defensive lineman and also an outside linebacker. He's just going to flat outrun him, and that's what we just saw on that play.
3:10 left in the first quarter. Neither team has really come terribly close to scoring. The Rams were down to the Lithia 36. Lithia Springs down to the Newton 38. That's as far as they've gotten so far in this evening's game. Cleary calls for it, gives to Tyrus Hardeman. No, he doesn't. He keeps it himself. And all of the Lithia Springs side closest to the Newton sideline was all over him. Maybe a gain of a yard, but certainly nothing more for Cleary on first down.
No, that's actually a bad read on Richie's part. Is an option to the left side, the right side of the Lithia Springs defense. He simply rides the fullback to see if he can give it. The Tyrus Hardeman had it straight up the middle. He probably would have broken for a touchdown, but Richie decided to keep it and got gang tackled right there for maybe a half a foot gain.
These mistakes are excusable for, I'd say another week or so, and then probably not when the sub-region schedule starts. Here's a pass up, and it's an incomplete. Tyrus Hardeman, the man that Richie Cleary was looking for, but that pass was kind of low, and Hardeman was in coverage.
That's one of his 90 series, a 3-step drop and just throw it to the fullback, Tyrus Hardeman. I wish Richie would have looked over to the other side, the wide side of the field. He had 2 receivers over there, Chris Middlebrooks and also Jarvis Johnson, wide open, and they only had 1 defender. So what Richie's going to have to do is learn this from his coaches and just realize to maybe take just a few more minutes and look downfield.
It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Rams with the ball on the 48.5-yard line of those self-same Newton Rams. Cleary looks for a man downfield. It's up. Hardeman catches the football at the 35, and he's tackled there. First down for the Newton Rams. Tyrus Hardeman with his first reception of the season. Hardeman, as a matter of fact, has only seen the ball 5 times, including his rushing play at the beginning of this game. So that's only the 6th time he's touched the football, but a big one here.
Oh, Kevin, that was the same exact play they ran in the preceding play. Apparently, Coach Cook liked what he saw, even though Tyrus didn't make the catch on the previous play. Ran the same exact play, and Tyrus brought it down this time for a big first down.
So back in Lithia Springs territory at the Lions 35, Jarvis Johnson goes in motion. Danny Sisko's the other wideout, same 2-back set. Hardeman will take the football on first down. He's got open field, hits one of his own men, and he's tackled at the 25. And hate to say it, but Chris Middlebrooks may have been the man who cost him a touchdown.
Yeah, we'll credit Chris for the tackle. Even though he does play defense, I'm sure he don't want to make a tackle on offense, but he made one there. But Tyrus Hardman, that was the dive that Richie Cleary missed about 4 plays earlier when he decided not to give it to Tyrus Hardman. This time he decided to give it to Tyrus. He brought up a big first down, and seeing some good things from this young fullback from Newton County.
So I'm continuing to click away. Now Doyle Baker is out there as one of the wideouts as Cisco comes out and rests a little bit. 1:46 remaining. Cleary looks for Baker, complete at the 15, hit hard, but brought down by Sadaka Favors. Favors only a freshman, but he's getting plenty of playing time, and so Baker comes into the game and immediately sees the football.
Good job there by Doyle Baker. And when you have an athlete like Doyle Baker, you got to use him somewhere. Even though he is a second-string quarterback, he can provide a lot of help for your offense, and they got him out there at receiver, made a good catch. Got hit pretty good by the freshman from Lithia Springs, but that's one of the things you got to, you get up under your belt, and that's one of the things that you got to do. And Doyle Baker took his first big hit of tonight, so he'll be okay.
Lithia Springs has Newton has 55 yards total offense. Here's the odd part, 31 via the run and 24 via the pass. It's almost a 50-50 offense so far.
Yeah, we're established by the time they got into their region play, and their offense is looking pretty good.
The way this Newton Rams team has played, if they can continue to string together the consistency on defense and have Jonathan Price continue to put up the big games on offense, this Ram team could really steamroll for the next couple of weeks. No team has ever gone 6-0 in Ram history. As you know, we've said it 1,000 times. There are 2 teams that have gone 4-0, 1950 and a team known very well to you, 1981. The Rams can win tonight and do that, and another win next week puts them in company with only the 1950 team.
Yeah, they're in a good position to do some great things and get themselves in the record book. But those are the things you got to put out of your mind. Just play game by game, week by week, and the record book will take care of itself.
Baker stays in there as the wideout on the near sideline. It looks like Stephen Smith is the other wideout, and Cleary pump fakes to him, and then he is hit hard, and the ball is fumbled. It's on the ground at the 23. Lithia Springs has recovered the football. Cleary had pump faked once and looked to pass. He was blindsided by Jason Witcher, one of the linebackers for the Lions. He's only a sophomore, but he is big, and he hit Cleary hard. And Cleary's a big guy, but the ball ended up on the ground immediately.
What happened there? Richie kind of pump faked, and the coach was asking why he pump faked, but I know exactly why. The guy was covered. He had nobody to throw it to. Somebody on the backside missed their block, and the Witcher kid came in and just hit Richie right in the black, caused a fumble, and now we got a flag on the play. We have 12 men on the field. There was 12 people in the huddle. Lithia tried to get a player off, but that's not going to work.
So this one is going to cost the Lions. 57 seconds now remaining in the first quarter.
The head referee, excuse me, Kevin, the head referee decided to give Lithia Springs a break. They tried to get a player off the field, and until the ball is snapped, you can get the players off the field, but the back judge didn't agree with it.
1st and 10 now for the Lions with only 50 seconds left here in quarter number 1. We'll give you an interesting stat about the first quarter in just a moment as head calls for the first down snap and gives it to Benjamin. And Benjamin gets hit hard by Jamiko Usher. After a gain of 4 or 5 yards, he'll be at the 28. Here's the interesting note. The Newton Rams, knock on wood, have not allowed a point in the first quarter to any team this year.
Yeah, and they've scored 19 points, and that's something that's really good. On that last play, Jamiko Usher just kind of unloaded on Leonard Benjamin, and that's one of the things you want to do. Even though he gained 4 or 5 yards, you still got to let him know that you're there. Maybe the defensive front can do a better job of letting him get back in the linebacker's position.
Second down play, the pass is up and complete to the 35-yard line, and somebody tripped up Coach Cook there. That Calvin Lee was the man who made the reception, and he went barreling right straight into Coach Cook, who is immediately back on his feet and looking around, letting everyone know that he's okay.
And Coach Cook did a little roll. He's probably going, oh, God, I hope everything's intact. He's making sure he's looking down his legs, make sure his knees are still there, but he's okay. And but I'll tell you what, Lithia Springs came here tonight to play. Their offense is running pretty decent. Even though they stalled down here on the Newton 38-yard line, they picked up some first downs, and they've shown a lot of attack with the run and the pass.
We cannot emphasize enough, they average 27 points a game against teams like Paulding County and Clark Central, so you know the offense has the potential. No doubt about that. Here on the reverse, Lee takes it. Lee will be past the 40 up to the 42-yard line. That's going to put an end to the first quarter. So the Rams' streak of not allowing a point in quarter number 1 has remained intact. However, the bad side is Newton did not score in this first quarter either. And so as we begin the second quarter of action, we'll have no score. Here from Homer Sharp Stadium in Covington, we'll be back with your second quarter of Newton Ram football action right after these messages.
When you need insurance, here's the first thing you should do. Call your auto owner's agent. They are people just like you.
Join the millions who save billions the annuity way. Your auto owner's insurance agent can show you a safe and systematic way to save. Auto owners no-load tax-deferred annuities credit high-interest earnings to your savings program. All auto owners' investments are of the highest quality. No junk bonds or real estate ventures. See your no-problem auto owner's agent and save the annuity way.
Call your auto owner's agents. They are people just like you.
See Steele Jones Insurance Agency, located on Floyd Street, Southeast in Covington. Or call 786-9213, your auto owner's agent.
Auto owners, the no-problem people.
Back live here at Homer Sharp Stadium, where the Newton Rams and Lithia Springs Lions are all knotted up at 0-0. Back with your play-by-play, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Paul Dailey, thank you very much. This is a little more like the Newton Rams at home that we were used to seeing last year. The defense looking strong so far. The offense having a little trouble getting started here. They drove downfield fairly well, but they're still having trouble with those turnovers. Another fumble, which they did not recover. 2nd down and 4. This time the ball is given to Jason Ledford, the sophomore. Ledford doesn't look like he has much of any gain at all.
Good job there by Greg Benson. He was actually the backside tackle on that play and read the play and was able to catch up with number 11, Jason Ledford, to bring him down for just a minimal game, if any.
3rd down and 5 here as we move into the second quarter. Now a look at the second quarter game-by-game point statistics. The Rams are actually having been outscored in the first 3 games. Opponents have scored 25 points in the second quarter this year. The Rams only 19. As you know, the third quarter has been the Rams' quarter. The second has not.
Oh, I was reading that stat wrong. Newton's only scored 10 points in the first quarter, okay, and 19 in the second. Yeah, and you look at that, and you're talking about 29 versus 25. They're still okay, but Coach Cooks definitely want to score more points. That's the name of the game, score more points than your opponents every quarter.
You've heard Todd Q. Chapman talk about it earlier tonight on the Tailgate Show. The Rams have scored roughly double their opponent's total of points, 69-35. But you take a look at the total offense, the Rams have been outgained by 80 yards, 782 yards for the opponents, 702 for the Rams. Opponents have 8 more first downs. This doesn't look like a 3-0 team in that aspect.
That's very surprising because the defense has played so well, but Newton's defense is a big play defense. They come up and they rise to the occasion when they need to be. You know, they are one of those bend but don't break kind of a defenses, and that's something that'll make your coach have a heart attack. Hopefully Coach Cook won't do that, but Newton's defense is definitely a big play defense. People like James Jackson, Danny Cisco, Alex Watley, and those players, Jamaica Usher, making the big plays when they need to stop the opponent.
I can tell you this much. One thing that's helped this defense this year, Paul, has been their defense in the red zone. It's been tremendous.
That's exactly right, and that's where you got to be good, and Newton's doing a good job of doing that, but also Lithia Springs is doing the same thing, but the turnovers have hurt Newton County here early in the first half.
3rd down, 5 yards to go from the Lithia Springs Lions 42-yard line. Shane Head is going to have absolutely nothing. He was rolling back and looking for an open receiver, but Newton chased him all the way back there, and we had literally a plethora, thank you, of Newton defenders on the play.
And Newton had like a little game or a stun on where they brought Danny Cisco and also Chris Middlebrooks, the 2 outside linebackers, and brought them in to rush the quarterback Shane Head. And luckily Shane had no opportunity to get the ball away. If he did, he probably would have had 6 points because there was 2 or 3 receivers downfield uncovered. But big play there by the Newton defense, and that's what we're talking about, big plays to help this defense survive.
And here's the same Matt Drobish. He punted the ball all of 8 yards last time. Well, this one's going to go a little more than 8 yards, but not a whole lot. Cisco is going to take the fair catch at the 38-yard line, and from the line of scrimmage, that is a 26-yard punt.
Well, Danny did a good job of fair catching there, but he needs to probably wave his arms a little bit more. If he doesn't, he's going to get creamed. Number 7 for the Lithia Springs, Jamal Jones, was sitting there ready to smack him, but the referee was there to stop him. But Danny's going to have to do a little bit better job of waving off the fair catch.
Well, as of right now, the Newton Ram passing and running are just about at the same total of yards, but 49 yards. And here's another fumble on first down. It's a fumble of the snap, and I think Cleary may have fallen onto football. That's a big break for the Rams there.
Looks like Richie Cleary and Britt Mass had a little bit of miscommunication in the huddle. Britt went ahead and snapped it. Nobody else on the line moved except Britt, so apparently he had the snap count wrong. And those are the plays that really just make a head coach furious, especially an offensive coordinator, when those things, because that's a play, you lose a little bit of yardage, and now you only have 2 more plays to get the 10 yards.
Denny Sisko and Stephen Smith both splitting to the near sideline toward us here in the press box. Taking it on first down is Tyrus Hardeman. Hardeman breaks through in a hurry, showing a little power and a little speed at the same time, and he gets past midfield, and he has a first down.
I was talking to Coach Cook this morning about what's the difference between Patrick Gaither running fullback and also Tyrus Hardeman. And he said, Paul, he said, the only big difference is Patrick's a lot stronger running through the line, he said, but Tyrus Hardeman has a lot more explosive speed, and we just saw that on that last play.
It's amazing the depth that the Newton Rams have. Bear in mind, the second leading rusher for the Rams, Alex Wadley, has not played it down on offense yet. Taking the ball here is Hardeman, and there goes Hardeman busting straight through, and he has another first down inside the 40 to about the 38 of the Lions.
And great push there by the offensive line for Newton Rams. Josh Gill, Britt Mass, Jeremy Little, T.J. Harper, and Tommy Durden, the big kid from South Gwinnett. Or actually, he's from Brookwood, correct?
South Gwinnett.
South Gwinnett. And I'll tell you what, that side of the line, you look at number 68 and 73, that's a big line on that side. You're talking about 6'5", 6'6", over 300 pounds.
We talked to Tommy Durden this morning on the coach's breakfast, and it's the first chance I've had to see him up close. He definitely has some size to him. There goes Price. Price breaks through a couple of them and a couple of more. He is close to a first down inside the 30-yard line. And all of a sudden, this Ram running attack has absolutely come alive. Tyrus Hardeman had 13 yards for the season, had 12 on the previous carry and 11 on the one before that.
Kind of a tall, lanky kid, but got a lot of explosive speed straight up the middle. He don't have the size to run through the middle like maybe a Patrick Gaither or someone, a big fullback that we're used to seeing, but got a lot of explosive speed. And if the offensive line can just, occupy their defensive front just for a few seconds, those backs, Jonathan Price and Tyrus Hardeman, can get right past them.
9:02 left in the second quarter. We're at Homer Sharp Stadium here in Covington. Another first down for the Newton Rams. 3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive rushes of about 10 or 11 yards, and 3 straight first downs. And the Rams already have 6 first downs here in this one, where Lithia Springs has gained only 3.
Yeah, I need to correct myself on that missed snap about 4 plays earlier with Britt Mask and Richie Cleary. That was not Britt Mask. That was Josh Gill. Don't want to make Britt come up here and get mad at me. So that was Josh Gill. But we can forget that because they've got a first down.
So Cleary and the Newton Rams inside Lithia at the 28-yard line. There goes Price on a pitch. He's down into the 20, 15, 10, and out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. They're going to call him out of bounds at the 8, maybe the 7-yard line, but Jonathan Price on the pitch has looked tremendous, and that speed seems to be getting better from week to week.
I tell you what, he showed a lot of speed on that play. He didn't even follow his lead block, Tyrus Hardeman. He decided to cut him in early, and that when you cut in early, you better look out for a couple of linebackers, but he simply outran the linebackers who had a pursuit angle on him, and luckily for Lithia Springs, one of the cornerbacks was staying home and was able to bring down Jonathan Price, and should have been a late hit on that play as well.
So now first down and a timeout called by Lithia Springs and also by us right here in the press box. More exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
If owning a Toro Wheelhorse lawn and garden tractor has been on your mind, now's the time to buy, because Coast to Coast Home and Auto and Toro are offering 12.9% financing right now. That's right, 12.9% financing. You get easy monthly payments while using your powerful Toro Wheelhorse tractor to take care of those back-breaking summer chores like mowing, tilling, and hauling, not to mention plowing when the snow flies this winter. Get in on this great deal right now. Visit Coast to Coast Home and Auto today before this special financing offer runs out.
Back live here at Homer Sharp Stadium, where the Newton County Rams are threatening on the Lithia Springs, let's call it the 2.5, 3-yard line. Back with your play-by-play and remainder of the second quarter, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Paul Dailey, we appreciate it very much. We've been bringing you Newton Ram football live every down of play-by-play as the undefeated Rams trying to stay that way in front of the home folks this time around. Price on the pitch, this time on the right side, and this time Hitting him immediately is Jamal Jones, a junior, and Price loses 3 this time around, so the pitch to this side didn't work quite as well.
Looked like Jonathan decided to follow Tyrus Hardman, and Tyrus Hardman kind of got stuffed there at the line of scrimmage, actually behind the line of scrimmage, by Jamal Jones, and he's probably sitting there in the huddle going, man, I thought you said you was going to block for me. But that didn't happen on that play, so look for Jonathan to run his own way this next play.
2nd down and 10, and quickly hustling as quickly as possible toward the sideline is Jason Witcher, and Price takes it this time, cuts up the middle, barrels forward, and touchdown Newton Rams. Price from 10 yards out, just as the clock ticks down to 7:59 left in the second quarter. It's 6-0 Rams, and the home crowd comes alive. A little something to be pleased about.
Well, I'm glad Jonathan Price didn't listen to me there, because Tyrus Hardman is the one that sprung that touchdown, made a big block on the linebacker, sprung Jonathan Price down the field, and Jonathan just kind of barreled over the safety, number 4. Don't even have a listing on him, but barreled over him and was able to get in the end zone.
Stephen Smith will attempt the extra point. He's got a good hold this time, and the kick is up, and it is, yes, good. That is 6 for 11 now as the Rams crack 50% in the extra point success ratio. 7-0, Rams on top. We are going to be back. More exciting, and I mean it, Newton Rams football after this, right here on WGFS, AM 1430.
The best money manager around is a checking account from the Bank of Covington. It's easy to keep track of your income and all your expenses with your checkbook and the detailed monthly statements we send you. It lets you see where you might save money, and it really helps in balancing your budget. If you're not already enjoying such financial assistance, learn all the advantages of a personal checking account at one of the convenient Bank of Covington locations. The Bank of Covington, member FDIC.
Welcome back with 7 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. Hey, let's just call it 8 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Newton Rams are leading 7-0 against the Lithia Springs Lions. Back with some more of your second quarter play-by-play. Kevin Holden.
All right, Paul Dailey, we appreciate it. And as we said at the front of this broadcast, as the Rams get ready to rumble, we prepare to ramble, as we do always on Newton Ram football. Stephen Smith will be kicking off from the 40-yard line, and the 2 men back to receive this time, Leonard Benjamin and Jason Ledford. Smith's kick will hit in the end zone just barely, and Jason Ledford had 1 foot out and 1 foot in the end zone, and looks in disbelief at the referee, but he had 1 foot in the end zone. That's where the ball hit.
He definitely tried all he could to keep that 1 foot out of the end zone, but his momentum brought him back into the end zone. And like we said earlier, in high school football, if any part of your body touches that end zone area, then it's automatic touchback, and the ball is brought to the 20-yard line.
So Stephen Smith on 4 special teams plays has had 3 touchbacks and a point after attempt, which was good. So things looking a lot better in that special teams game this week here for the Newton Rams. So first down for Lithia Springs. They'll be at their own 20-yard line, and this time taking the ball and busting through was number 11, Jason Ledford. Ledford had the defense going toward the Newton sideline and then broke out toward the Lithia Springs sideline.
All that was a misdirection dive play, and a lot of teams have been very successful. Redan was very successful against Newton High earlier in the year. Mount Zion had a couple of really big gains on that misdirection play, and looks like Lithia Springs has seen those films and realized, hey, let's try it also, and they're having some success too. They got 9.5 yards on that play. What that means is the backside linebacker, Danny Cisco, is going to have to stay home.
Tony Ayers, the one wide receiver here for Lithia Springs on this one. And Shane Head dishes off, but his running back doesn't have hardly any yardage at all. He is past the 30. This will mean a first down, but it's a gain of maybe a yard for Leonard Benjamin. They're going to call a timeout and bring the chain gang on. No, they're not. They're going to measure it a first down.
Good job there by Habeas White and also Greg Benson and the guys up front, Emilio Reed and Nikita Webb, to stop that just to a minimal gain, but it was enough for the first down. The linebackers are playing a good game as well. Jamaica Usher and Patrick Gaither, they're sticking their nose up in there. On that last play, Danny Cisco's out there for one of the first times playing outside linebacker. And what I mean by staying home is he's got to stay in his position until he knows the ball is gone, and that'll prevent that backside misdirection play.
We're down to 6:45 left now in quarter number 2. And Head gives to, this time around, we'll check and see who that is in just a moment. The man he gave to lost a yard or two, as so many Ram jerseys were on him, we can't tell who it is. It's Andrew Godfrey, a junior. And Godfrey with a loss.
Big play there by Nikita Webb and also Greg Benson, which was also on the backside there. A lot of aggressive pursuit there by the Newton Ram defensive line. Patrick Gaither stuck his nose up there and made a big hit as well, and was about a yard loss on the play.
Second down, 11 yards to go, Lithia Springs.
So 2nd and 11 here for the Lions. Rams next week begin the 8 Quad A South schedule. They'll take on the Winder Barrow Bulldogs. This time Shane Head with play action rolling toward the sideline. It's up complete. Drobich takes the ball. He's got a first down. He's past the 45 to the 46 where he's hit there and brought down.
Tell you what, Newton County got caught a little bit inside there, and Shane Head just kind of rolled over to his right over on his side of the field and decided to throw it downfield. And Dan Cisco is going to be credited for that tackle, and he's actually the backside outside linebacker. I don't know if he was in coverage then, but I don't know what in the world he's doing down there making tackles. That's the secondary's job. He needs to be rushing a little bit more.
Lithia Springs hasn't used the pass much tonight. They've only attempted 3 of them. Thing is, they've completed all 3 for a total of 40 yards. This time, Shane Head gives to Leonard Benjamin, and Benjamin breaks the first series of tacklers and passes midfield before Alex Wadley comes in on the tackle.
Good job there by Dan Cisco to prevent Leonard Benjamin from getting any momentum going. If you get him in the open, he's a lot like Jonathan Price, probably a little bit more powerful than Jonathan Price, maybe not as quick. But Newton's done a good job here in the first half of limiting him to just the inside, maybe a 10. I think his biggest game maybe a 10 or 11 yards. So Newton's doing a good job against him.
Another second down play here for Lithia Springs. This time they give it to Ledford, and Ledford is broken free. He is inside the 30 and down to the 29, and the man who made the tackle, Jarvis Johnson, a man who'll need to step up here and have a good game. He's playing that center field position, so to speak, and that safety.
But Newton's defense has a lot of eagerness to pursue to the ball, and what they're doing is they're pursuing to the quarterback, and the quarterback's just killing them with that misdirection counter. And that's exactly what they did on that play with Jason Ledford, and he was scot-free right through the line, and luckily Jarvis Johnson was down there to save the touchdown. But Newton's going to have to do a better job of preventing that weak side misdirection play.
Down to 4 minutes, 40 seconds, 4:38, 4:37 now left in that second quarter, and Benjamin takes this one, and Benjamin breaks through a series of them and stays up before Cisco can bring him down, but yet another first down for Lithia Springs, and here come the Lions driving down the field.
That's one of the things you don't want to do. You don't want them to get a lot of momentum going here late in the first half, because that can carry over into the second half. And Danny Cisco's making a lot of tackles, but he's making tackles 10 yards down the field, and what that means is he's doing a good job of pursuing, but the linebackers and the guys up front have got to stop the running and the pursuit, the attack a little bit earlier, because Dan Cisco's having to run downfield and make the tackle. And I tell you what, on that last play, if he wouldn't have made the tackle, the Lithia Springs line will be celebrating a touchdown, because Jarvis Johnson was blocked and tripped up on the play.
Homer Hector's Lithia Springs Lions now at the Newton 20, 1st and 10. As the clock continues to tick away. One receiver wide to the right side. One man just back from the line of scrimmage is Ledford. Here taking the football is Andrew Godfrey. Godfrey is down to the 15-yard line. Habeas White, one of the men in on the tackle, looked like Cisco got a hit in there as well.
And what the Newton defense is going to have to watch is every time one of the guards is a little bit off the line, that's a dead giveaway if the guard is about to pull, because if the guard's up on the line of scrimmage, it's probably a good indication that he's going to do a straight block. But if the guard is off the line of scrimmage just a little bit, that means he's probably going to pull, and that's what the defensive tackles are going to have to spot. And those guys, Habeas White and Emilio Reed, are going to have to spot that, and linebackers as well. But again, Danny Cisco's making the tackle, but he's doing it 5 yards down the field.
Well, it's important now for the Rams to play defense in the one spot where they play the best defense. That's in the red zone. With the ball now way down at the Newton 15-yard line. Rams only up by 7 here. Shane Head's going to look for an eligible man downfield, looking for somebody, and that one looked like it was off the helmet of his intended receiver, number 81, Chad Samples, the junior. Let that one bounce off the face mask, it appeared from up here.
Well, if anybody's here listening to the ball game tonight, and I know there are, if you just keep your eye on number 64, the offensive lineman, every time he comes to the line and he's off the ball, he's going to pull. He's done it for 4 straight plays, and what he was there, he was the lead block for the quarterback on the rollout. So the Newton defensive coaches are going to have to spot that. Whenever number 64 is off the line of scrimmage, it's a pretty good idea that he's going to pull.
Looks like he's a little off the line here. There's Shane Head taking the ball, and he's going to keep it himself and try to jump forward, but he was tripped up, and that'll be a loss there. And Greg Benson came up and hit him.
Big play there by Greg Benson. And going back to number 64, he was off the line of scrimmage, but the tackle was there with him. And you'll notice, and we'll talk about it more maybe in the second half, but whenever the outside tackle outside the guard lines up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, then it's a dead giveaway. But looks like Lithia Springs is going to try a long field goal.
And on to attempt the field goal is going to be Chris Nicolucci. He is only a sophomore. It's a 36-yard attempt, which is up, and it is good. So a 36-yard attempt from Chris Nicolucci puts 3 points on the scoreboard here for Lithia Springs and makes it 7-3 Newton as we have 2:42 remaining in the half. So we're going to be back with the last part of your second quarter. More exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
Ace is the place for summer savers for you. Check out these great buys at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the Square in Covington. Ace 100% silicone sealant, only $2.27 each. Also, Rubbermaid 32-gallon roughneck trash can, only $7.88, and Lufkin 1-inch by 25-foot high visibility tape roll, only $5.97. All kinds of summer savers at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the Square in downtown Covington.
We're back with 2 minutes and 42 seconds, and the Newton Rams are leading 7-3 against the strong Lithia Springs line ball club. Lithia Springs just scored on a 36-yard field goal, and they're going to be ready to kick off. Back with your play-by-play, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Big Dog, Paul Dailey, we appreciate it. And, of course, we'll be hearing the Big Dog's picks at halftime in addition to all of our other segments that we'll be bringing you on the halftime show, including some first-half stats and a talk with Chris Bridges, proclaimed by many as one of the football experts of this area. And kicking off for Lithia Springs will be Chris Nicolucci, same man who just finished up that field goal, and I'm sure he'll have a little extra boost in the leg because of it. Back to receive are Price and Watley. With only 2:42, I have a feeling we may see a little hurry-up offense from the Rams. It, of course, will depend on what happens with Price or Watley, whoever touches the football. The kickoff will bounce at the 17 and go out of bounds right at the 18-yard line. And so a 42-yard kick, and we'll see what happens from there.
We're going to wait on the official to say every time that the ball goes out of bounds in college or pro, we wait for a yellow flag to come up, but that's not what's going to happen here. In high school football, it looks like they're going to spot the ball right at the 18-yard line.
Like you, Paul, I was waiting for the penalty, but apparently this is not going to happen. Now,
looks like they're going to try to do a re-kick.
Now we are going to have a re-kick. The penalty will go against the Lithia Springs Lions. They waited, and I never saw the yellow flag.
No, I'll tell you, this happened against us in Redan also. It apparently is a penalty. We never saw a flag go down, but it's going to be a legal procedure for the ball going out of bounds, and it's going to be a big penalty. It's going to give Newton pretty good field position at the 35-yard line.
So that penalty,
no re-kick.
That's right. Newton will take it on their own 35. That's the way it operates here with the high school rules on that kick that goes out of bounds. So Cleary will have 2:41 to try to do something for about 65 yards worth, and there's a lot of it as Chris Middlebrooks makes the catch at midfield. The pass from Cleary complete to Middlebrooks for 17 yards, and the first down in Lithia Springs territory. And Middlebrooks coming in here in the absence of James Jackson, and Middlebrooks makes a big reception there.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, that was a big reception. He made that a one-arm grab there. It looked like a little baseball player. He's played some baseball in his time, and he just reached that big arm out there and grabbed the ball and able to bring a big first down to the Newton Rams.
Middlebrooks, a catcher for the Newton Rams team on occasion the last couple of years. Price takes the ball at midfield, and Price got hit apparently by the face mask and tackled hard by Mike Williams, but here's the yellow hanky at the 45-yard line, and the way Price was brought down, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Somebody just kind of grabbed Jonathan around the headgear, and whenever you do that, the flags are going to come flying. And I think we saw several flags. Every referee out there decided to throw it. Now we're going to see what kind of penalty is going to come here. We know it's a face mask, but just how far.
You could hear the oohs and ahs from the folks here on this side and from the crowd on this side as we are just above the Newton crowd here at Homer Sharp Stadium. And it does go against Lithia Springs as the face mask, and hopefully Jonathan Price isn't shaken up too much. He apparently has remained in the action.
Well, we know Jonathan's quick, but we know he's not that quick in reverse, and that's exactly what happened there. Somebody grabbed his head, and he turned in reverse real quick, and that's just an obvious face mask and a big 15-yard penalty against Lithia Springs.
So the ball now down to the 33-yard line and another first down for the Newton High Rams. 2:04 left, and Rams marching downfield, but penalties have been the majority of that. Here's a pass up, and Jarvis Johnson, did he make the reception at the 23? We're checking to see. They have marked a reception at the 23-yard line. That ball was right there on the ground, and you can hear, now one of the officials says that Johnson trapped the football, and from here it appeared that he did trap the ball.
It looked like it from here, but the referee had his back to it, and the back judge about the 5-yard line, he said he caught the ball. Then the head referee comes down there and says, no, it was a ricochet off the field. He's a head referee. I guess he can make that call, but the Lithia Springs coaching staff was over there very upset. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Newton Rams.
Jarvis Johnson, the intended receiver on that last play. 2nd down and 10. Less than 2 minutes left to play. Here comes Tyrus Hardiman. Hardiman spinning inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. 4-yard gain, and we're going to see a timeout. Another one called by Lithia Springs. They won't have any more timeouts. No, Newton calls the timeout. Originally, they had said Lithia had called it.
That's exactly right. The Coach Cook is probably, he's definitely wanting to get a score on the scoreboard here before the half ends. And Coach Cook went ahead and decided to take a timeout with 1 minute and 49 seconds remaining. Newton is up 7-3, but they definitely want to get some points on the board right before halftime because that can take a little bit of wind out of the opponent. Plus, it puts momentum on your side. So, good timeout there by Coach Cook.
Hardiman had a 3-yard gain, so it's 3rd down. With the Rams having 7 yards to go for a first down, you could call this probably the crucial play of the first half. Because if the Rams don't come up with it, you have the ball, say, on the 25-yard line. If you attempted anything with Stephen Smith, you're looking at 42 yards of a field goal attempt. He did make a similar one against Heritage in the last-second desperation kick against them in the first half last week. You really wouldn't want to try that again. You'd rather see the first down.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to go ahead and go down the field. You just got to get a first down here. And if Newton County doesn't come up with it, probably it really depends on how close they get to the first down. They may go for it on 4th down, but we'd like to see them get it on this 3rd down conversion. But one of the things we haven't mentioned, Kevin, is the scoreboard. They've apparently filled in some lights for us, and that's making our job a little bit easier compared to 2 weeks ago when we had Mount Zion here.
That's right. There were 7 minutes and how many ever seconds left all the time on that scoreboard, it seemed. Yeah, they have fixed it. Looks nice up there on the scoreboard. Everything here at Homer Sharp looking nice this year. Cleary's looking for a man. Escapes one block. The pass is up and nowhere near Danny Cisco. And that is going to make it 4th down and 7. And Cleary really was kind of lucky to get that ball off, given that he eluded one tackler to do it.
If I was a coach, and I'm definitely not, I would have probably tried like a wide sweep with Jonathan Price. And, maybe I would have only picked up a few yards, but would have got myself in a better position to maybe go for it on 4th down. But now, Newton is faced with 4th and 7, call it 7 yards. And now a big decision has to be made by the coaching staff.
Stephen Smith is out there, and with 1:42 left, even if Smith makes this, Paul, you've still got 102 seconds left on that clock. The Rams would be up 10-3, but Lithia could have a chance to come down and tie the game.
Yeah, I don't really know. Stephen's also a wide receiver, so we see him going into the game, but yet we see Richie Cleary out there too. So the way it looks from up here, it looks like Newton's going to decide to go for it, and probably not a bad decision, even though you want to score before halftime, but that is a long field goal for Stephen Smith. And they've been having a little bit of trouble with the exchange from snap to holder. Did a good job on the point after touchdown.
Was the Heritage game, and they were close enough there to punch it across with Cleary or with Gaither.
That would be a 46-yard field goal, and it looks like Newton County decided to go for it 4th and 7.
Well, here we go, folks. 4th and 7. Here for the Newton Rams. 1:42 remaining. 7-3 your score. The Rams on top of the Lithia Springs Lions. Pass up, and Hardiman drops the football. He had a definite chance to catch that and get the first down, but it was a little bit too high, about shoulder high, and Hardiman couldn't quite get a grasp on it.
That was a 3-yard step that the 90 series that we talked about earlier, and Newton had a little bit of success earlier in the 2nd quarter with it. They ran it one time. Tyrus Hardiman dropped it, ran it again. He caught it for a big first down. Same play there. The Tyrus dropped it again. He should have caught the ball, simple and plain, but it brings up a first down for the Lithia Springs line on their own 30-yard line.
Now 1:37 left, and for this Newton Ram defense that has definitely gotten the job done throughout the large majority of this year, it's time for them to pick it up a notch. Head is going to look for somebody, but now he's grabbed by the shoulder pads and brought down inside the 25-yard line, and the pursuit was all over him. The pass blocking was not there, and Greg Benson and Emilio Reed, the left side, were all over it.
I tell you what, we were really concerned about the defensive front for the Newton Rams earlier this preseason, wondering, with the loss of some big key seniors, how the defensive line would be. But I tell you what, they haven't lost a thing. If anything, they're probably improved from last year on the defensive front. Greg Benson has came up, and he's put a lot of weight on, got a lot stronger. I can't tell you how good Emilio Reed has been up front as well.
Now, you've hurt the Lions big time because it's 2nd and 17, plus the clock continues to tick. We're under a minute left to play here. And taking the ball this time around is number 11, Jason Ledford. He is a sophomore. And Ledford might have 5 yards, but here it is, 47 seconds left, and the clock is still going with the ball at the 28.
Well, Lithia Springs sees the clock continue to run, but they can't do a thing about it because they have no timeouts. The only thing they can do is maybe run their running backs to the sidelines and maybe stop the clock, but they haven't done that yet, thus on this drive.
And the officials called a timeout. They were holding up a mouthpiece and asking anyone, and Greg Benson finally decided he'd take it.
Looks like a mouthpiece or maybe an ear pad, but surely gracious, he'd know if his ear pad was missing. But the referee, good idea for him to stop the game because that could seriously cause some injury, especially if it's a snap-on. And those things, if you get hit with that buckle sitting there pinching your ear, that could really pierce your ear in a hurry.
He was holding it up and passing it around, and no one seemed to want it. But at the last second, Benson decided might as well go ahead and take it. 34 seconds left in the second quarter. You have 3rd down and 12 yards to go here for Lithia Springs. If the Ram defense can stop, there may still be a chance for the Rams to put more points on the board the other way.
And you're exactly right. Going back to Greg Benson's headgear, we know how Coach Cook feels about earrings. He don't let any of his players wear them, so we don't want Greg to get a pierced ear out there with his equipment.
That's also probably not the way you'd want to get a pierced ear. There are probably safer ways. Here on 3rd down, taking the football, looked like Tyrone Middlebrook. And Middlebrook was brought down by Habeas White, the right tackle. And here's 4th down, and with 21 seconds left, Lithia will have to kick it away.
Habeas White on the stop for Newton.
Good job there by Habeas White to penetrate. Lithia Springs kind of run a draw, and looks like the Newton Rams have used their last timeout to make sure that the Lithia Springs punted away, and maybe Danny Cisco can get his hands on it, bring it down after a big return, and maybe get it in the end zone, or maybe Stephen Smith can try a long field goal.
With 4th and 11, and you talk about how special teams help to win you games or help to lose you games if they don't perform well. We've talked about the Lithia Springs punter. He's had 3 punts so far. The first one was a good one of 45 yards, where Danny Cisco had the 17-yard return, but his last 2 punts, Drobish has punted the ball 8 yards and 26 yards. And if we see something more like that, the Rams really have a chance.
Yeah, that'd be a great time for him to get off of maybe a 8 or 6 yarder. And be a good chance for Newton to get a quick score here before half. There's 21 seconds left in the second quarter. Newton up 7-3.
So here's Matt Drobish, the junior, going to punt it away for the Lions, and Danny Cisco is behind midfield to receive for the Newton Rams. Rams up by 4, 21 seconds left. That punt was nearly blocked, but it passes midfield, and Cisco will take it on the fair catch at the 39-yard line. So a much better kick this time around, 40-yard punt.
Look for Newton Rams to just kind of throw it up maybe, throw it down the field to any of the receivers that can catch it. But you only have 15 seconds left on the clock, and you have no timeout. So you're probably going to run something towards the sideline, maybe like a corner route, but it's going to have to be at least about a 45-yard corner route, and we'll see what Coach Cook's got up his sleeve.
15 seconds left. First down from Newton's 39-yard line, and Cleary's going to look for somebody down there. It is up, and Hardiman has the football. He's at midfield, tackled at the 40, and Newton needs to burn a timeout. First down at the 40.
They're going to stop the clock for the change of possession. Looks like they need to ground the ball real quick. Richie Cleary's going to ground it and maybe try a long field goal.
21-yard pass completion. First down at Lithia's 40-yard line. 7 seconds left on the clock. Rams may try to get something else off here. Here goes Cleary and the Rams. 5 seconds left. And the clock was stopped with 2 seconds left, and it was clearly 2 or 3 seconds after Cleary had spiked the football. And so with 2 seconds left, we'll see what the Rams are going to do.
I don't see Stephen Smith coming on. Well, he's already out there. But Richie Cleary is remaining on the field, too. So it looks like they're going to set up a pass play down into the end zone and decide not to try a long field goal. That'd probably be like a 52 or 53-yarder, and I think that's way out of Stephen Smith's range.
2 seconds left, so we'll get a chance to get this one play off. 2nd down and 10 from Lithia's 40. The Rams up by 4. Will they be up by more? Cleary is looking for somebody. He hits Middlebrooks at the 30. Middlebrooks has got some ground to cover, and he'll be tackled at the 24-yard line. All that was open was the short receiver. So Lithia plays pretty effective defense, keeping the Rams out of the end zone with those last seconds remaining.
Good decision there just to throw the ball down the field. Looks like Coach Cook looks like a little bit upset with that last play, but you're still going in the halftime leading 7-3, and that's something that he's a great person and great coach at halftime. He makes a lot of adjustments, and there's one thing they're going to have to do is make adjustments on that misdirection play. But I think Newton Rams are a little disappointed in their first half performance, but they'll come out strong here in the second half.
Well, we've got plenty of good news for you here It is halftime, first of all, and the Rams are up 7-3 over the Lithia Springs Lions. You'd probably like for it to be more. However, the Rams are on top and on their way to being 4-0 for only the third time in the history of Newton High School. That's one piece of good news. Another piece of good news, yes, we're several minutes away from an interview with Chris Bridges, stats of the first half, and best of all, the prognostications of our friend, the Big Dog. He'll get a chance to give you Big Dog's picks and apologize for last week. If nothing else, we'll be back after this. This is the halftime show. You're with us here on WGFS, AM 1430.
Where can you find the best entertainment on television? On HBO, on Covington Cable TV. HBO features the best in box office movies, the best original movies, the best in entertainment. For HBO, call Covington Cable TV at 385-2044. For the best in movies, the best in entertainment, it's HBO. Call Covington Cable TV, 385-2044. 385-2044.
Your one-stop sporting goods shop is Ludi Sports Shop, located at Newton Plaza on Highway 278 in Covington. Show your support for your favorite professional or college team or even the Newton High School Rams by picking up sweatshirts, hats, jackets, and much more at Ludi Sports Shop. They can do screen printing for churches, schools, and other groups. They also sell baseball cards. They sell shoes at Ludi Sports Shop, and they also sell hats. That's Ludi Sports Shop, located on Highway 278, 787-3014.
A money market account from Newton Federal is where smart money goes to live. Money that earns top rates while being instantly available with some transaction limitations. Put your money to work, real work, with a Newton Federal money market account today. Newton Federal Savings and Loan, FDIC insured.
When you're tackling those lawn and garden chores this summer, picture yourself on a Toro Wheel Horse lawn and garden tractor. For a limited time, it's easy to buy a new tractor because you can choose from two terrific financing programs. Choose either no payments and no interest until October 1st, 1995, or finance your Toro Wheel Horse tractor at only 12.9% interest. No matter which plan you choose, you're guaranteed top performance with a Toro Wheel Horse tractor. But hurry, you must buy your tractor now to qualify for this great deal. Stop by Coast to Coast Home and Auto today.
Hello?
Hello?
Morning, sir.
Where are you?
I'm still undercover, eating breakfast at Shoney's.
I sent you there hours ago to find out why everyone goes to Shoney's for breakfast instead of my restaurant.
I think it's Shoney's all-you-care-to-eat breakfast bar, sir.
You think?
Well, I'm only halfway through the 40 delicious breakfast items.
Shoney's breakfast bar features 40 items?
All you care to eat, sir.
No.
At one very low price.
No.
Everything from freshly prepared favorites like scrambled eggs, pancakes, bacon, sausage, to tasty surprises like real buttermilk biscuits and real sticky buns, sir.
Come back, Ludlow. We've got work to do.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry?
I'm so impressed with their all-you-care-to-eat breakfast bar, I got a job at Shoney's.
But you're my best busboy.
Shoney's is my destiny.
But, son...
See you, Dad. Tell Mom all right, okay?
Okay.
Check out Shoney's Breakfast Bar every morning, but most of all on Football Friday mornings when we bring you the Coach's Breakfast from Shoney's at Turner Lake and Highway 278.
WGFS AM 1430, I have a score update. For those of you who'd like to hear it, Augusta Christian is winning over George Walton Academy 7-0. I think I know somebody who'd like to hear about that. Again, that's Augusta Christian 7-0 over George Walton Academy. Guys, take it away.
Did he say that on the air?
We're here at halftime where the Newton Rams are leading the Lithia Springs Lions 7-3 in a very quick first half, and we're graced by the presence of the area sports person. Chris Bridges is here with us again tonight, and he's kind of joined our staff up here every Friday night at the away games as well, and we're working real well together. And Chris, that was a very fast first half. Saw a very balanced attack by the Newton Rams offense with a lot of run and a lot of pass. Looked like they stalled every time they got a little bit of progression going. They stalled a little bit with the fumble caused one stoppage of their offense and a couple of penalties. What do you think of the first half?
Well, like you said, it was a very fast and quickly moving first half. Probably one of the quickest I've ever been at. It only took about an hour actual time to play the first half, which sometimes I've seen it go an hour and a half before they get the first two quarters in. The first half was interesting in many ways. I've been impressed by Lithia Springs. They've mixed up their offense well. Also, like you had mentioned, Newton was doing, running very successfully on the misdirection plays, getting some yards, getting to their big guy, Leonard Benjamin. But they've also had about 3 or 4 other guys who've touched the ball. Their quarterback, Shane Heads, even passed the ball successfully tonight. He's 3 for 4, hit some good passes for some first downs. So pretty well even played first half. Newton's up now 7-3, and it looks like it's going to be another close game like it was last year.
Well, hopefully Coach Cook can make some adjustments at halftime with his defense. The defensive line has played really well in the first half. They just had a couple of bad plays that cost them very big. For instance, every time Lithia Springs ran that misdirection play, it looked like they were very successful on it, gaining 10 or 11 yards, enough to pick up the first down. And it was always on third down, so they was always looking at a third down and 10, third down and 11, and they would run that misdirection play and pick up enough for the first down. So definitely Coach Cook's got to make some adjustments there at halftime. And I tell you what, he's a master at doing that. And he talks about his talks at halftime and talks about how intense they are, and apparently his players are listening to him. Todd Chapman told us just a minute ago that George Walton's down 7-0 against Augusta Christian, and I just want to bring that up just for a second. When those guys in that league play, they've got to travel so far whenever they're on an away game. The private schools are so spread out around our state that when they play someone, it's usually so far away, and it's got to be a hard ride back if you happen to lose. I remember our road trips, if we happen to lose against Rockdale or we happen to lose against Henry County or something, and that's only about a 35, maybe a 45-minute trip, and it was probably the longest rides of our life. But you're talking about a 2-hour ride from Augusta. How can that be? Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Right. Well, I traveled those back roads for many years. Back when I played athletics at Piedmont Academy, and like you said, that's the perfect example right there tonight. Augusta Christian playing in Monroe. That's a drive right there. And another example, this is probably one of the more extreme examples, but Nathaniel Green Academy, which is up near Greensboro, they're playing a team down around Valdosta tonight. So that right there, you're looking at a 6-hour trip probably, something like that. So the traveling, there is a lot to it. You do have some of the schools are not that far apart, like Piedmont, which is in Monticello, and you have Gatewood, which is at Eatonton, and then of course George Walton's in Monroe. So back when George Walton and Piedmont had a big rivalry, you didn't have far to go. But there are some weeks and some nights where you really have to pack a lunch and load up the bus because you've got a long way to go.
Well, and also when you're talking about that league, also the private schools is they usually don't have an established bus route or an established bus team, so usually the driver's a head coach or maybe an assistant coach, and and those guys usually come back that same night because their touchdown clubs or whatever don't have really enough money to put the players up and the cheerleaders up for the night. So that's got to be a long trip, and I respect those guys for making those long routes. And Lithia Springs is a pretty good travel too, and they've come a long way over here to play tonight. And they played real well here in the first half. Again, the score tonight is right now in the first half. After the first half, the Newton Rams are up by a score of 7-3. But what I'd like to talk about real quick now is I did some tallying today while I was at work, on my lunch hour, of course.
Of course.
But we did some results year to date with our Big Dogs picks. And I know that me and you kind of discussed the Big Dogs picks before every game. And both of us have done 27 total games. We've picked 27 total games. And I'm sad to say, Chris, after our last week, I'm leading you by about 6%. Actually, it's 8%. I've picked 60% of them right, and you're coming in a close second with 52%. What do you think? You're pretty even there. On college picks, you're 9 correct and 9 wrong. Pro picks, you got 5 right and 4 wrong, so you're pretty consistent anyway. When we look there at mine, I've got 10 college games right, 8 of them wrong, and I tell you what, NC State is killing me too. That is my alma mater, but I'm going to go with them one more time, but don't look like I'm going to do it if they do me wrong this week. Pro games, I'm 6 for 3. But it's a lot of fun, and we do a lot of fun things up here with the Big Dogs picks. But a couple games that we're going to be talking about this week, and we'll talk about the results or the picks in just a minute. But a couple of big games is the Texas A&M and Colorado game. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a big game right there. I was looking at the spread net and was a little surprised that Colorado was favored by 4 points in the game. I know Texas A&M has to travel up to Colorado for that game, but Texas A&M has perhaps one of the best running backs in the nation and one of the top Heisman Trophy candidates. So I was kind of surprised that Colorado was picked in that game, and I'm going to, with my pick, as we talked before this game tonight, I'd have to go with Texas A&M, and not only to cover the spread, but to win the game.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Big Dogs picks in just a few minutes. I'm still debating. As you look on the paper, that one's still blank. I haven't made a decision on that. But we've got about 10 minutes left here before the second half is underway. What do you think, Coach? What are some of the things that maybe Coach Cook is telling his players at this point, do you think?
Well, I think like you mentioned before, just maybe to try to come up with the big play on third down. They've been playing tough on first and second, and they have had some big plays from the defensive line. Greg Benson's got through on a couple times. Habeas White has been in the backfield, I know, 3 or 4 times just by an unofficial count. And even Danny Cisco, he's had a lot of tackles now. He's not on the line, but he had a sack earlier in the game. So maybe they can just keep them pinned back on third down and maybe get the offense going a little bit more, because Lithia Springs, they're a big physical team. You look at their guys. I mean, they don't have many small people at all. They're big. They're big, tough, well-built guys, and looks like they're in there some hitting going on down there in the trenches. And I think they match up well with Newton, because Newton's big and physical up front, just like Lithia Springs is. And when you have an even matchup like that, the score is usually going to be close, which it is tonight.
And one of the things I like to credit the Lithia Springs coaching staff is Newton's defensive line is very aggressive. We see that with Greg Benson, Habeas White, and Emilio Reed being in the backfield almost every play. And what that tells you is they're aggressive, they're beating their men up front. But a way to prevent that, if you're losing the battle up front, is to run that misdirection or a counter dive, because when the defensive line is pursuing the play, they're usually pursuing the running back or the quarterback, and whenever you throw that wing T guy and they're running the other way, it throws them off guard. And the Lithia Springs coaching staff has done exactly that, and that's what they've been successful on tonight, is the pursuit or the aggressiveness of the defensive line and also the linebackers. So look for Lithia Springs to continue that, and we'll make sure Newton County makes that adjustment at halftime to make sure that the defense be aggressive, but yet stay in your place to make sure your lanes are occupied, and don't let that misdirection or that Leonard Benjamin get past you, because once he gets in the open field, he's like a Jonathan Price. He can break loose on you.
That's right. When you throw in, like you're talking about, that misdirection play, that just adds like a third option to it. Is he going to go to the fullback, tailback, or that wingback coming around the end? And it seems like Newton's pretty much keeping in check the quarterback and the 2 running backs, but a couple times the wingback play has hurt them. So I would look for them, for the coaching staff for Newton is probably going over that at halftime, trying to make them play assignment defense, somebody whose man that is, to stay with him and make sure he doesn't break up the field for 10, 11 yards gain, which they've done a couple times.
Well, we'll be anxious to wait to see that in the second half. One last question, Chris. You know, we hear and we see in the newspaper about all the Newton Rams and their success being ranked 12th in the state and a chance to go 4-0 after tonight's ball game. What else? What else is going on here in Newton, the Newton County area, besides Newton Ram football?
Well, outside of football in general, which you have the high school and you have all the middle schools and all that. One thing I'd like to mention is the Newton High School softball team has been doing very well this season under Coach Troy Davis. This is his first year coaching the team, and they won a doubleheader yesterday. They swept Habersham Central, and they finished the regular season 10-3 and 5-1 in the region. A real successful year for them, and they're gearing up for the region tournament, which should be probably in about another week. So there's been some lean years there for the Newton High School softball team, but they've really come on strong this year, and I've been impressed with them. They've got some good players, and I'd look for them maybe to make a run at it in the region tournament, may even go to state.
Well, congratulations to the Newton County, or the Newton High softball team, and we appreciate their support, and hopefully they do real good in the playoffs. We'll be back with the remainder of the halftime show, Newton, and also Newton Ram football right after these messages.
When you need insurance, here's the first thing you should do. Call your auto owner's agent. They are people just like you.
Auto Owners Insurance selects their agents the same way you do, very carefully. When you work with one of our many independent agents, you can count on receiving fast, courteous, professional service. Our agents represent other companies, so we work hard providing them with quality protection and service for life, home, car, and business. See an independent, no-problem auto owner's agent.
Call your auto owner's agent. They are people just like you.
See Steele Jones Insurance Agency.
The clock, we're in quarter number 3. Rams up by 16 points in this affair. And once again, a passing play. He's looking for a man downfield. And an interception by Habeas White. A defensive lineman takes the football. And honestly, it looked as if Shane Head turned and threw it directly into the hands of Habeas White. somebody's going to have something to talk about on the sideline.
I'll tell you what, if Habeas White, if he better go there and thank Nikita Webb and also Greg Benson for that interception, even though they're not going to get credit for that interception. They're the ones who made it happen. Greg Benson had a lot of outside pressure, then all of a sudden Nikita Webb comes out of nowhere and just punishes Shane Head and allowed Habeas White to make the interception. Good job by all three guys.
Well, the young man Habeas Corpus White has to be standing on top of the world right now after the interception. And the Rams in Lithia Springs territory at the 30-yard line with 1:07 left. And here comes Price. Price was busting through into the 25-yard line and passed it probably to the 24. Broke the original tackle of Godfrey to gain the 5 or 6 yards.
And Newton County, again, is running behind the big left tackle and left guard, T.J. Harper and Tommy Durden. Had a lot of success in that play, was able to pick up 6 yards.
And there's an official's timeout as one of the Lithia Springs players is down on the field. What we're going to do here is take a break, and we will be back with the rest of your third quarter of Newton Ram football action. 19-3 Rams. We'll be back right after these messages.
Your one-stop sporting goods shop is Ludi Sports Shop, located at Newton Plaza on Highway 278 in Covington. Show your support for your favorite professional or college team or even the Newton High School Rams by picking up sweatshirts, hats, jackets, and much more at Ludi Sports Shop. They can do screen printing for churches, schools, and other groups. They also sell baseball cards. They sell shoes at Ludi Sports Shop, and they also sell hats. That's Ludi Sports Shop, located on Highway 278, 787-3014.
Where can you find the best entertainment on television? On HBO, on Covington Cable TV. HBO features the best in box office movies, the best original movies, the best in entertainment. For HBO, call Covington Cable TV at 385-2044. For the best in movies, the best in entertainment, it's HBO. Call Covington Cable TV, 385-2044. 385-2044.
With a $500 daily minimum balance, you can enjoy a Now account at Newton Federal Savings and Loan with no monthly maintenance fee, competitive interest earnings, and immediate access to your money. And even better, you'll discover the best in personal banking service. Newton Federal Savings and Loan, FDIC insured. In Covington, 786-7088. $100 minimum to open.
And welcome back to Homer Sharp Stadium here in Covington, Georgia, where the Rams are up by 16 points. We have 29 seconds left in the third quarter. Richie Cleary just had an incomplete pass intended for Tyrus Hardiman. The injured player Ryan Lowry for the Lithia Springs Lions has been taken off. He walked off under his own power, needed a little bit of help, but limped off nonetheless. And so here the third down situation is up for the Rams with 4 yards to go.
And that last play, Richie Cleary got tagged from the back, but he got right up and he's okay.
Third down from the 25, 29 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's Price on that pitch on the left side, and he smashes one tackle and goes in for the first down. For as small as Price is, every once in a while he'll lower his head into someone and kind of surprise him.
I tell you what, that's something that when the teams that Newton will face on down the road, when they look at these films, they're not only going to have to worry about Jonathan Price juking and jiving away from a tackler, but also just running over you. And that's something you don't really think you're going to see from a small back like Jonathan Price. But I tell you what, he's got a lot of courage and he's got a lot of gut because he's running right over folks in the secondary for Lithia Springs.
Time ticks away here in the third quarter. I don't think we're going to get another playoff. We will not. Time will expire. There go the last 2 seconds of the third quarter. 19-3, your score. The Newton Rams are on top. It was 7-3 at halftime, but the Rams scored 12, meaning that so far in 4 games, they've outscored their opponents 45-0 in the third quarter. We're going to be back. More exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
If owning a Toro Wheelhorse Lawn and Garden Tractor has been on your mind, now's the time to buy, because Coast to Coast Home and Auto and Toro are offering 12.9% financing right now. That's right, 12.9% financing. You get easy monthly payments while using your powerful Toro Wheelhorse tractor to take care of those back-breaking summer chores like mowing, tilling, and hauling, not to mention plowing when the snow flies this winter. Get in on this great deal right now. Visit Coast to Coast Home and Auto today before this special financing offer runs out.
Back live here at Homer Sharp Stadium where the Newton County Rams are up 19-3 against the Lithia Springs Lions, the Newton Rams. Back with the remainder of the fourth quarter, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Paul Dailey, Big Dog, we appreciate it and thank you very much. Cleary and the Rams at the Lithia Springs 19, and we'll try to put some more points on the board. And somebody missed the snap count. Cleary was trying to take the snap and move back, and the call will go against the Rams for illegal procedure. Once again, Josh Gill and Richie Cleary were kind of off as far as the snap count. That is not the first time that's happened.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have to blame that one on Richie Cleary because everybody else stayed still, so it's a 10 against 1. He's the only one that moved, so apparently even though he yelled out the snap count, he probably forgot it. Whenever everybody else moves and the center doesn't move, then you can blame that on the center, but I think Richie was guilty on that play.
It's kind of rough to be all alone in a circumstance like that. 1st and 15 for the Rams, now back at the 24. Stephen Smith and Danny Sisko, the men in motion, and Cleary will keep it himself. Look at him streak upfield, 15 and out of bounds at the 13-yard line. There's Richie Cleary, and we saw him we'll put quotes around the juke moves against Parkview last year. This time around, though, some good yardage.
A good decision there by Richie Cleary to roll out, misdirection, and was able to get by the defensive end, but Jamal Jones was able to run him down and pull him down right there on about the 13, call it the 14-yard line. But Richie Cleary is a straight north and south run. He's not going to give you a lot of east and west juking and jiving. He's just going to run over you or try to outrun you.
6 yards to go for the Rams.
But Cleary going back over center with 2nd down and 4 from the 13.5. And Stephen Smith has been in motion all night. There goes Price. Price, a big hole opened up for him, and he jumps up and out to the 5. So a gain of 8 yards and another 1st down here for the Newton Rams with a chance to put even more on the scoreboard. And really, Paul, this team looks so much more impressive in the second half, at least, in moving the ball on offense.
Yeah, they made the adjustments at halftime, and they're doing what they need to do to get the ball down the field. And T.J. Harper, I watched him on that play, and he just simply pancaked somebody. Number 78, I don't want to call your name, but I'm going to do it anyway. Mike Williams for the Lithia Springs line. He just got pancaked by T.J. Harper, and that's something the college scouts love to see when the lineman pancakes another big guy. And that's exactly what happened.
1st down from the 6-yard line, and Patrick Gaither sees his first action of the night. Gaither was the Rams' starting fullback for a while. As you know, he went through some problems with injury and missed a game and hasn't really seen a lot of time at fullback, but he's the man they go to kind of push it in when they're close to the end zone. Gaither has only 29 yards this year, make it 30 after that one, but he scored a pair of touchdowns.
Well, Patrick looked like he was a little bit off the line there. Richie Cleary had to kind of reach out and hand him the ball, and it's kind of mishandled the ball. Luckily, Patrick Gaither was able to hold on to it, but they brought the beef in here for the 2nd down play.
Gaither and Price, and this time Price will take it, and he gets pushed forward 3 or 4 yards, maybe down to about the 2-yard line. And so, once again, Coach Cook was trying to let Price push it in from the 5. You know, he's been terrific from 20 to 20, but just hasn't been able to push across the touchdowns. He's had 312 yards coming into this game, and he'd probably break the 100 mark tonight, but he only has 3 touchdowns, plus the 2 tonight makes 5.
Well, Coach Cook has decided to bring the beef out there. He's brought Greg Benson out there as a tackle. He's also brought number 73 for the Rams. Who do you have at 73, Kevin?
Tommy Durden.
Tommy Durden, yeah, that's a big kid from South Gwinnett. I put him at guard, so they've got a lot of beef up the middle. So look for them to go to Jonathan Price, maybe on the corner.
3rd down and goal from the 3, and there's Price on the corner. Coach Dailey, touchdown, Newton Rams. Might Paul Dailey be up for an assistant coaching job at Newton High School here very soon? Well, apparently they've been listening to him because there's 6 points.
Good job there by the coaching staff of putting a lot of people up front. Lithia Springs thought that maybe they'll come up the middle again, bringing all that beef and Patrick Gaither. And they just go ahead and throw it on the corner with Jonathan Price. And the only one out there to defend it was the outside corner and the outside linebacker. And they just wasn't able to bring Jonathan Price down.
Well, that pitch play has been their most effective play tonight. And here comes the point after attempt. And concentrate really hard here, everybody, please. Here comes Stephen Smith's kick. It's up and good. That makes him 50% in point after attempts tonight. 2 out of 4, Paul Dailey, and that's not great, but it'll do the job in a 26-3 game.
Well, it's not only a point after touchdown; it's an adventure. We've seen a lot of things happen with the extra point conversions. A lot of them haven't been successful, but I tell you what, that one looked pretty good. It looked like a little wedge shot from approaching the green, but it counts. It goes down in the book as a point, so we'll take it.
The next game for the Newton Rams a week from today will be right here at Homer Sharp Stadium. We'll be sitting in these same seats, you and I will, and hopefully everybody else who's here will be back, and some new folks will be here as well, and they will be watching the Rams and Winder Barrow Bulldogs. And Winder Barrow got pasted by Monroe area earlier on, so that's pretty much the extent of what we know about them. They're taking on Johnson Gainesville tonight. We'll see how that game turns out. course, the Rams had a big win up there in Winder last year when Winder was a ranked team. Not the case this year.
Well, Wanda-Barra, they're really a team that should be in AAA. They decided to come up after they had a lot of success in AAA, decided to come up into Quad A, and they did fairly well that first year, but they've been getting punished ever since, and they got punished by Monroe area, which is a 3A school. So Newton County, you can't take the people lightly up there at Wanda-Barra. It's a good rivalry. It used to be a real big rivalry here in Newton County, but Wanda-Barra, I'm sure after this year, has decided to go back to AAA.
There will be some changes in 8 Quad A, with Heritage and Rockdale both going to drop down to AAA, and a lot of these other changes will occur. So you're going to see a lot of new teams in 8 Quad A for next year. Here's Stephen Smith on the kickoff. It's a big one, end over end, very high up there, 55-yarder. Taken at the 5-yard line by Ledford. Ledford plowing through some folks and staying up after being hit hard at the 25. And a flag goes about a mile into the air. And Alex Watley may be the man responsible for that, Paul.
Well, actually, Alex Watley was the one who made the big hit. I can't really tell you who had the late hit, but Alex Watley delivered a punishing blow to the return guy, and somebody happened to kind of jump on the pile late, and that just does nothing but add 15 yards to the return. And Coach Cook, I'll tell you what, he's really upset, and it looks like he's talking to Britt Mass. I'm not going to sit here and convict him of the late hit, but all the coaches are sitting there talking to him. And Britt and Dan Cisco, those guys are just so aggressive that that's just how they play. And a little bit, sometimes you don't want your players to do that. But whenever you have an aggressive player, sometimes those things kind of happen.
Earlier on, though, a couple of plays ago when the Rams were down about the 3-yard line, Britt Mask really nearly got into a fight with someone on the Lithia Springs team, kept pushing him over and over after the play was done. Mask has a lot of intensity out there, but sometimes it'll cost him like it did here.
1st and 10, line.
Shane Head over center and set to go for Lithia Springs. They need a big one to try to get back into this game, and the lane duck pass is up and incomplete for Chad Samples. That had a weird rotation on it. Samples couldn't handle it.
I'll tell you what, they're leaving Leonard Benjamin in to help block for Shane Head. And he tried to go over there and attempt to block Nikita Webb on that play and got punished. He got blown right back into Shane Head. Nikita Webb and Greg Benson, the two defensive tacklers, are doing a great job of rushing the passer tonight. I don't know if Shane Head's ever had, and he hadn't had a whole lot of time to pass tonight. He's always been rushed, and the Newton defensive line is doing a tremendous job.
And that defense has had a couple of substitutions this game, people who haven't played in certain positions, but they've certainly done a fine job. Passes up, complete to Ledford. Ledford fumbled the ball momentarily, just kind of bobbled it. Kept it, though, and he makes it up to midfield and inside midfield to the 49-yard line. So Ledford, on just a little quick pass his way from Shane Head, turns it into something big.
It's kind of a screen pass to the weak side over there, and Shane Head just threw it over there to Ledford. And Danny Cisco was there to make the play, but Ledford just kind of juke-stepped and kind of ducked the tackle of Danny Cisco and able to bring the ball down and pick up a big first down.
And it is Lithia Springs' first down of this half. Special thing to note, that Newton Ram defense has really turned it up. Of course, the offense has had a lot of ball control here in the second half as well. 9:28 left in the game. The Rams leading this one 26-3. Happy news so far from Homer Sharp Stadium. Shane Head's pass is up and incomplete. The man who nearly had the interception was Benson. Benson jumped up and blocked the pass and nearly picked it off.
Good job there by Greg Benson. He kind of got stuffed on the play. I was isolating on him, but he had enough strength to go ahead and jump up there and block the pass, and he just kind of looked like the big old grizzly bear there and just brought the ball down. Well, almost intercepted.
2nd down and 10 for Lithia Springs. Look for them to go to the air quite a bit here in the fourth quarter, down as big as they are. And as I say it, they give to Ledford. And Ledford, trying to cut back inside, is hit by Habeas White and is brought down after a gain of, say, 2 or 3 yards. And here's 3rd down and long yardage for Lithia Springs.
Looks like we got a flag on play again, and unfortunately, one of those players we were talking about earlier got in a little argument with the Lithia Springs player, and it looks like the referee has pointed at both players, so look for an offsetting penalty here.
And they are offsetting. And it's the same penalty that goes against Lithia and Newton.
I always hated that call, Kevin. I mean, if you're going to call a penalty, go ahead and punish somebody. And that really solves nothing. I mean, it kind of warns them. It's kind of like a courtesy warning that we talk about, like when a police officer pulls you over for speeding. But we all appreciate a warning, but it does nothing but delay the game.
Note that Greg Benson has come to the sideline, and he is hurting. He's being tended to by the defensive coaching staff there, and you saw a lot of wide eyes as he left the field. Benson, I believe, has hurt something in his arm.
Yeah, we see him down there. The paramedics kind of looking at him, and they looked at him and then kind of turned away. So looks like he may have got a foot to the groin area. He's sitting there trying to take some breath, so he's probably just got the breath knocked out of him.
So in the meanwhile, going in to take his place in the defensive end is Stargell Penn. Penn's a sophomore, weighs in at 200 pounds in the official Newton Ram 1995 program, so he will spell Greg Benson for a little while here. Well, Benson gets a chance to catch his breath, and it's a perfect chance to do so with the Rams up here by a little more than 3 touchdowns. They can play some new folks.
Yeah, we looked down on the sideline, and Greg just went over there to the water table and got him a drink of water, and now he's going, Coach, I want to go back in there, but he got to stay out at least one play. But that's probably what happened. He just got a stray kick to the groin area or something and got knocked out of breath, but he's okay.
Shane Head and Lithia Springs, another attempted passing play. It is up. This one is complete at the 30, past one tackle and down to the 25-yard line. Ledford with the completion. And Jason Ledford has been a jack of all trades tonight. And this time he gets a first down for the Lions.
Good job there by Shane Head to wait on his receiver, Chris Ledford, or actually Jason Ledford, to go downfield. And on the coverage there, it looked like it was Jarvis Johnson or Stephen Smith, and kind of got tied up in a little bit of a pick, but a good play there by Lithia Springs, and it's going to give them a first down on the Newton 25-yard line.
You think the defense has done a good job? Lithia Springs has 9 yards on the ground in this half, and there's a fumble which Shane Head picks up, but there isn't much he's going to be able to do with the football. He fumbled it, picked it back up, and ran for a couple of yards perhaps, but certainly nothing more as the ball spotted on the 22, so it's a 3-yard gain.
Well, that just goes to show you how aggressive the Newton defensive line are. They didn't even see the ball go on the ground, and then the Shane Head just kind of picked the ball up and ran for 4 yards, and that's got to be discouraging to the coaching staff, but luckily Patrick Gaither was there to make the hit.
The Lions with 7 rushing yards and 4 passing yards in the fourth quarter, 11 total yards of offense. That's where the Rams made their dominant push. Now Head is going to look for someone throwing off balance, and he's complete to the 15-yard line. This time around it's Chad Samples, and Samples will be tackled at the 15, so a 7-yard passing gain.
It's going to be real close to a first down. We'll wait and see what the referees say. They're going to go ahead and signal first down. But Lithia Springs is driving here thanks to a couple of big penalties and a couple of big pass plays as well.
Note that Greg Benson is back in there. The Rams would like nothing more than to finish off a game at home without giving up a touchdown. The defense didn't give up a touchdown last week either. It was on special teams that the Rams gave up that 7-yard or 95-yard 7 points to the Heritage Patriots.
Well, your defense takes a lot of pride in not letting anybody score, and I guarantee that's why Coach Cook has sent his first string back in the ballgame.
The last touchdown that the Newton Ram defense allowed was back in the Mount Zion game in the fourth quarter. Gives you an idea of how long it's been. That's 8 quarters. And so there's a timeout called with 7:17 left in the fourth quarter. The Newton Rams lead the Lithia Springs Lions 26-3 and try to go to 4-0 for only the 3rd time in the history of Newton High School. More exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
Charles Evans Nissan would like to remind you the summer's almost over, and so is the opportunity to get sizzling savings on specially selected vehicles. Stop in for a test drive before the sun sets on this super sale. A 1994 Nissan pickup, only $10,995. Red hot deals on cars ranging from an 88 Honda CRX to a 95 Nissan Maxima, and dozens more. Charles Evans Nissan, 1420 Iris Drive off exit 41 in Conyers, 922-7600.
Back live here at Homer Sharp Stadium where the Newton Rams are up 26-3 against the Lithia Springs line with 7:17 remaining in the fourth quarter. Back with your play-by-play, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Paul Dailey, we appreciate it. And on first down, it is the play to Jason Ledford, and Ledford plows through touchdown Lithia Springs Lions. The kind of a double handoff as the ball was given originally to Calvin Lee, but Lee giving it back to Jason Ledford. Ledford has become sort of the star of the game here for Lithia Springs, so they do put points on the board, but midway through the fourth quarter makes the score 26-9.
Good play there by Lithia Springs. That was a misdirection 2x2 there. Had a misdirection counter dive, and the guy just handed it back off to the other counter dive guy. Kind of a weird play to try to commentate on, but I tell you what, Jason Ledford just lowered his head and ran right over the secondary of the Newton Rams, and looks like the Lithia Springs Lions are going to go for 2.
So alter your stat sheets, ladies and gentlemen, as the point after attempt goes. And we're not going to see it just yet as time has been called here.
Looks like it's going to be a delay of game, and it's kind of odd that your back referee is going to call a delay of game. It's usually your head referee that calls that, but the guy way back in the end zone throws his flag down and calls a delay of game. It's going back to Lithia Springs line up 5 more yards, and they're going to try a 2-point conversion from the 8-yard line.
So this is not going to change their plans. They're still going to try to go for 2. Really, at this stage of the game, you have to do everything you can to pick up something in the way of points on the scoreboard. If they can go for 2 and get it, they'll be down by 15. They'd have to score twice more and get 2 more 2-point conversions to get the lead. So the point after conversion going from the 8-yard line, and the pass is up and complete. Bobbled, but complete to Andrew Godfrey, who made a little scare for the folks on the Lithia Springs sideline, but the 8-yard pass will put 2 more points on the board and make it 26-11.
I'll tell you what, that was really a bad play on Newton's defense. I don't know what in the world they were thinking, but the guy was wide open over there. Dan Cisco tried to go over there late, but he was wide open, sat there and juggled the ball for a while and was able to get the 2 points, and that brings up the score. Newton.
And if the Rams would have put a field goal on the scoreboard, they'd have 29, and Lithia would really have a lot of trouble. Newton could just about ice the game. You hate to say that with this much time left, but a field goal really could ice it.
Well, you talk about that too, and Coach Cook, he's one of those people that's not going to run up a score on anybody. But I guarantee you, and he's the last one to think about state rankings or anything, but those guys up in Atlanta, if you really pound a team real bad, then they're going to move you up in the rankings. And I know Coach Cook's not worried about that, but the Newton Rams need to really put some points on the board to move up in the rankings here.
Here comes the onside kick more than likely here. And it is the onside, and at the 45-yard line, the ball ends up out of bounds. And it was touched, I think, by Chris Middlebrooks, and a couple of Lithia Springs players nearly had that football, but it ended up out of bounds.
Calvin Lee almost jumped on the ball. It was touched by Chris Middlebrooks. He was unable to handle it, and luckily that ball squirted out of bounds, and it's going to give Newton County a first down on their own 42-yard line. But close play there, and Lithia Springs almost come up with an onside kick conversion.
Earlier on when the kick went out of bounds and the Rams took it at their own 35, that was 18 yards farther upfield. If the officials were to call a penalty, would they spot it at the 35 and have a negative 7-yard penalty and have the Rams start farther back?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions. It seems like I'm the last person in the world to ever pick on a referee, but they've had a couple of questionable calls here today.
Newton's going to take a timeout. So will we. We're going to be right back. Rams up by 15 points here in the fourth quarter. More exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
The best money manager around is a checking account from the Bank of Covington. It's easy to keep track of your income and all your expenses with your checkbook and the detailed monthly statements we send you. It lets you see where you might save money, and it really helps in balancing your budget. If you're not already enjoying such financial assistance, learn all the advantages of a personal checking account at one of the convenient Bank of Covington locations. The Bank of Covington, member FDIC.
Back with 6 minutes and 16 seconds left in your fourth quarter, the Newton Rams up on top of the Lithia Springs Lions, 26-11. And Kevin, we see a lot of young players out there on the offensive line, on the offensive squad for the Newton Rams, so we'll probably see a lot of things here in this fourth quarter.
Well, as you know, this is the final 6 minutes and 16 seconds that the Rams will play outside of sub-region play. And as you know, Coach Cook would like to get a lot of people with a lot of experience before the sub-region schedule begins. We saw Doyle Baker take some snaps at quarterback, Stephen Smith the same way. Didn't look terribly impressive with either of them, but they're at least going to get some snaps in probably before that's over with.
Looks like Doyle Baker's going to be the one that's going to run the offense here in the fourth quarter. Stephen Smith actually called the play, but Doyle Baker's going to be the one who's going to run the play.
First down from Newton's 42 with Baker, the junior quarterback, leading the Ram offense. Here on first down, he gives to Tyrus Hardiman, and Hardiman is plowing through for a couple of yards, and the spot will be at the 44, so give him 2, and he earned every inch of those 2 yards.
Yeah, we got some new guys on the offensive line. We'll let you know who they are. Tommy Durden, the big guy from South Gwinnett that's transferred here to Newton High School, he's still in there. We have a couple of new guys on the right side of the line. Stephen Smith is still calling the plays, but Doyle Baker is at quarterback.
Open up your Newton Ram program. We'll hear some new names here in the fourth quarter, more than likely, as Baker in charge of the offense. Baker has played some safety, even caught a pass in this game, and now he gets a chance to throw perhaps a couple before it's over with. Less than 6 minutes left to play. There goes Stephen Smith in motion. Now 2 wide receivers to the far sideline. It's a pitch to number 5, Pete Reed, a sophomore. Told you we'd see some new names.
Yeah, Pete Reed just took a wide pitch, let me get that out, to the right side and was able to pick up just a few yards. What the coach is doing is kind of throwing the signals there to Stephen Smith, and Stephen Smith is telling Dole Baker what the play is.
Smith has had more experience at quarterback than Baker has because Smith really did lead the offense for a fair portion of last year at quarterback. So, oddly enough, after the success with Richie Cleary, Smith ended up as a wideout and I think has been more successful and probably happier out there.
You're exactly right.
And Doyle Baker, who before it's over with will have a chance, I'm sure, to lead this Ram offense a lot next year, will get his experience here. And here Reed takes the ball, and there's a fumble on the play at midfield. And the Lithia Springs Lions have recovered the fumble. So once again, with the second team or third team offense in there, another fumble. We've seen all kinds of fumbles from the second and third stringers.
I tell you what, and that's kind of discouraging too, because you're giving these guys the time to play, and of course they're young guys, they're going to make mistakes, but those are mistakes you just got to kind of prevent. And the coaching staff's going to talk with Pete Reed and tell him, hey guys, good job, you got a good future ahead of you. You just got to hold on to that football.
So Lithia will be right close to midfield there, back on their own 49. 4 minutes 38 left in this one. They score once more. Look for those first-team offense to go back in there. Shane Head with a lot of time rolling, passing to Benjamin, complete to the 45, to the 42, and he's brought down there. And once again, like we said before, if Lithia Springs can put 8 points on the board, they'd be down by only 7.
And Lithia Springs line has decided, hey, we're going to leave our first string in here, and I think the Newton defense is first string out there as well, with a couple of exceptions of people that are not there tonight. But looks like Greg Benson may be a little bit shaken up, and he's kind of gingerly walking off the field. And number 71 for the Rams, John Gray, is going to be coming in. He's a junior.
John Gray.
So we have some new folks into the action for Newton on offense and defense. Of course, Jarvis Johnson tonight serving as the free safety and really has done a good job out there. We haven't called his name that much, and that's really as good as it is bad. Lion offense set to go here on second down. The pass is up and completed immediately. Hit, and Stephen Smith and Chris Middlebrooks will knock him back 5-6 yards and really won't tackle him. They'll give him the forward progress.
Good job there by good coverage on Stephen Smith's part. Just got there a little bit late and maybe knocked the ball away, but Jason Leffler was able to make the reception and pick up a first down for the Lithia Springs line. It's going to be 1st and 10 on the Newton County 37-yard line.
Now we're down to 3:49 left, so Lithia will have to hurry if they hope to put 2 scores on the board. Here's the pass. It's up and complete, wide open at the 30-yard line to the 25 and tackled. The man making the reception was Chad Samples. Alex Watley missed a tackle, and then finally Samples brought down at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Jarvis Johnson was able to bring him down, but Lithia Springs doing a good job of throwing the ball downfield and getting themselves in a position to score another late touchdown.
Once again, a first down play, and here comes some flags. 3 minutes, 31 seconds left, and the pass that time intended for Ledford, but incomplete, but we'll have to see what's going on with the flags.
Probably going to be called defensive interference on Stephen Smith, but the offensive guy kind of just ran right into Stephen Smith, but they're going to call it against the Newton Rams, and that's going to bring up a big first down there, way down there in Newton County territory.
So from the 25-yard line, they will mark it off, and it will be another first down here. And Lithia Springs, after not picking up a single first down in the third quarter, have already picked up 5 unofficially here in the fourth quarter, and the ball will be marked from the 25 all the way down to the 12.5-yard line.
Well, what happened on that play, Kevin, Jason Leffler just kind of ran over Stephen Smith, and Stephen was falling back, knew he was going to be beat, so he just kind of grabbed Jason Leffler's jersey, and that's all the referee saw was him grabbing his jersey, and of course, there goes the penalty, defensive interference.
Without a single penalty for the first 2.5 or so quarters, the Rams now have 4 penalties for 38 yards. This pass from Shane Head as he was really being chased, and that was up and a mile away from any Lithia Spring Lion receiver. He was basically falling backwards and just trying to get that ball up in the air.
Newton County decided to blitz on that play. They brought everybody. They brought Chris Middlebrooks, the outside linebacker, brought Nikita Webb, brought Emilio Reed, and everybody else, and almost was able to sack Shane Head, but he was able to get the ball away.
Second down from Newton's 12. The Ram defense has given up the touchdown on the 2-point conversion. Even after the 5-yard penalty, is still converted. This give is to number 30, Calvin Lee, the senior, and Lee has absolutely no room as Lithia kind of tipped the play off and the Rams spotted it immediately.
Yeah, he was also punished on the play by Patrick Gaither and also Nikita Webb. And I can't say enough about Nikita Webb. He's doing a great job, and he's only a 10th grader, and And he reminds me a lot of the way Greg Benson used to look, kind of a tall, lanky guy. And we look out there and see Greg Benson. He's done put on a lot of weight, and he's done turned into an excellent football player.
Nikita Webb, only a sophomore also. Here's the pass up, and that one well over the head of David Wims, if I'm not mistaken, was the intended receiver on that one. We'll check that. Actually, no, Matt Drobish, the man he was looking for. And that was well over his head as well as the head of the man guarding it.
Yeah, good job there by Dan Cisco of covering Matt Drobish. Both of them were stride for stride, and the ball was really actually overthrown. Nobody had an attempt at the ball.
Fourth down now from the 13, and if you're Lithia Springs, can't be any harm in going for it right here with your team down 15 points. You really have got to try to pick up something.
Looks like they're undecided on what they're going to do, so they're going to take a timeout.
We will do the same when we come back. 2:55 left in the fourth quarter with the Rams leading it by 15. It's 26-11. We'll be back with more exciting Newton Rams football after this on WGFS AM 1430.
Ace is the place for summer savers for you. Check out these great buys at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the Square in Covington. Ace 100% silicone sealant, only $2.27 each. Also, Rubbermaid 32-gallon roughneck trash can, only $7.88, and Lufkin 1-inch by 25-foot high visibility tape rule, only $5.97. All kinds of summer savers at Mayfield Ace Hardware on the Square in downtown Covington.
Well, folks, we're back, and it's getting late here in the fourth quarter with only 2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this ball game. The Newton Rams are up 26-11 over a Lithia Springs team. And, Kevin, we have just a little under 3 minutes remaining. Fourth down for the Lithia Springs Lions. What do you think we're going to see here?
I'd imagine, well, first of all, I can guarantee you we'll see Lithia Springs go for it. And we've seen Lithia pick up a lot of short pass completions. Of course, they need one of at least 12 yards here, but bear in mind, and I say that phrase way too much, by the way, the double handoff that we saw in the misdirection the last time they had the ball down around this side of the field. You might have to watch that. You also might have to watch Jason Ledford, who's really been a force to watch here.
Fourth down, 10 yards to go for...
Can Kevin Holden match Coach Paul Dailey? Not quite sure. He is going to look for a man downfield. Shane Head is, and Danny Cisco tipped that ball, and it's incomplete. Jamal Jones was the man he was looking for, and Cisco just stuck a hand on it and put it down. That's all you have to do.
I tell you what, Danny Cisco was beat on the play, but he actually was able to stick that long arm out there and block the pass. Was almost intercepted the ball, but I tell you what, he's had a couple of things happen to him tonight, probably on the negative part, but that's one of the positive things that he got out of a nice ball game, and that's when your leaders step forward, your seniors step forward and make big plays, and that definitely was a big play.
And so the Newton Rams will go back in with the first stringers, at least most of them. We see Richie Cleary as the quarterback, Stephen Smith and Danny Cisco back at the wideouts. Most of the first string line is out there, as are Tyrus Hardiman and Jonathan Price. We are less than 3 minutes left to play in this ball game as the Rams look to go to 4-0. They're up by 15 points. Cleary hands off to Price. Price kind of pushes forward, plows through, and he'll have about 3 yards there, and that'll run some time off the clock as the Rams will just try to do that. And I can think of some people who hope this game gets over in a hurry.
Well, Coach Cook's probably his theory here is, you got pretty poor field position down there on your own, 15, 16-yard line, and your second string offense didn't do a real good job when they were up here on the 40-yard line. They wasn't able to get a first down and also fumbled the ball. So he decided to go ahead and send his first unit back out onto the field. Good decision on his part.
So with the ball on the 16, it'll be 2nd and 7. And if the Rams can pick up one first down, you could pretty much call it over with. We're down to 2:06 left in this game, and there goes Price. And Price has a yard, maybe 2. He kind of ran into those big linemen. And when you're as small as Jonathan Price, when you run into more than one body, you're probably not going to have a lot of luck.
Yeah, you're right about that. And Jonathan wants, he wants eagerly to get out to the outside, but he's run really strong up the middle tonight. He's just put his head down, ran over some people. And we talk about Coach Cook. He's not going to run the score up on anybody. They're not in a position now to run it up on anybody. But he's from the school of the Vince Dooleys and all them about just, running the clock out. And I like that. He's not from the school of Steve Spurrier that will run the score up, especially like last week. And also the Bobby Bowdens have run the ball up.
And here on Tyrus Hardiman on 3rd down, it has a little room outside. He's past the 30 to the 35 to the 39-yard line. Tyrus Hardiman found a little room and an open hole and took advantage, and another first down, and that'll pretty much do it for this one with 1:16 left. Hardiman with the gain of 20 3 yards, putting the ball at the 39.
That was a great play, Kevin, but one of the things I really liked seeing Tyrus Harmon play, when he was about to get hit, he changed balls to his left hand, the outside hand, and that prevents a lot of fumbles down the road. And I guarantee you, I really like seeing that from the senior fullback.
Richie Cleary looks toward the sideline, and I think that he's picking the play up right now.
He's actually waiting on time to go off the clock until his coach tells him to go ahead.
That's exactly what he's doing here as he gets to Hardiman, and Hardiman pushes through. He's at midfield, breaks another tackle. There he goes to the 40, to the 30, to the 25, tackled at the 21-yard line. 42 seconds left, and Tyrus Hardiman makes a push to be a fullback starting when the sub-region schedule starts. Tyrus Hardiman looks tremendous here in the fourth quarter.
I tell you what, I'm sorry about interrupting there, Kevin, but he actually should have just waited on Stephen Smith. Stephen Smith's got just as much speed as he does, but he was a little bit anxious there, and Stephen Smith was going downfield to maybe throw a block, but Tyrus was a little eager to get to the corner, and he's winded right now. He's asking his coach, please, man, let me have some air. He's coming out of the ball game, and Patrick Gaither is in for him.
When you rush for 57 yards on 2 carries, you're allowed a play or two off, especially in this circumstance. 22 seconds left, and did Richie Cleary just run back about 5 yards and go down on a knee like Richie Cleary has done?
Well, that doesn't help his stats at all, but that just goes to show you that Coach Cook is from the school of don't run it up, don't embarrass your opponent. And, a lot of people may not want to see that, but that's just Coach Cook, and that's the way he's been coaching for a long time, and I respect the man for it.
And the clock has run out with Richie Cleary downing the ball with a 5-yard loss, and that'll do it as the Newton Rams have picked up a win over the Lithia Springs Lions. Your final, the Rams win it 26-11. They joined the 1950 Newton Rams, who ended up 5-0, and your senior year, the 1981 Newton Rams, who started 4-0, but you guys ran into Cedar Shoals in week 5.
Yeah, Cedar Shoals kind of put a bolt in our bubble, kind of burst our bubble to speak. But they had a really good back that went on to play at Clemson, and but I tell you what, we had a good year, and it looks like Newton is on their way to having a great year as well.
Those two teams that started 4-0 both finished 7-3, and to be honest with you, I think 7-3 would kind of be a disappointment for this team the way they played.
Yeah, and they've got a couple more games that they're looking forward to, and think they have a really good shot of winning. And a lot of people are saying that Newton has a good chance of going into that Parkview game 9-0. Now, they've got to get by a couple of really big teams. Brookwood, they're not having a great year this year, but, they're still Brookwood, and they've got a lot of tradition up there. So we'll wait to see. We had a couple of key players out tonight, but we was able to win, and I think we could have won even bigger than what the scoreboard says. But we'll take this victory, and we'll move on and start thinking about Winder Barrow.
Remember that the Newton Rams will be going to Brookwood to take on the Broncos, and of course there's always that Shiloh game. Shiloh, the pesky team for the Newton Rams for the last several years, a team that the Rams have had a chance to beat several years straight but have lost to them several years straight, and that's going to be a big one. Now, the Newton Rams next week will take on the Winder Barrow Bulldogs. When we come back, we'll talk about that. We will give you some final statistics for this game, and we'll wrap it up. Homer Sharp Stadium is the site of some really, really good news as the Rams win this one 26-11. We'll be back. Newton Ram football on WGFS, AM 1430.
If you're considering a cellular phone, go ahead, shop around, check out all the deals. But when it comes to cellular experience, product selection, and the most important thing of all, service after the sale, East Metro Communications stands alone. They're this area's oldest cellular agent, and now, for your convenience, they're open on Saturdays from 10 to 2. Go by and let Brenda, Tom, Bert, or Joe tell you about their latest promotion. That's at East Metro Communications, conveniently located at Highway 278, a quarter-mile east of Newton General, 786-6796, an authorized agent for AirTouch Cellular.
When you need insurance, here's the first thing you should do. Call your auto owner's agent. They are people just like you.
Paying for insurance in a lump sum every 6 months or each year can be a hassle and a strain on your budget. With an auto owner's insurance flex bill plan, you can consolidate all your personal insurance premiums into one easy-to-handle monthly payment. With the flex bill plan from Auto Owners, you'll never feel the sting of an annual premium. See your no-problem Auto Owners insurance agent.
Call your auto owner's agent. They are people just like you.
See Steele Jones Insurance Agency, located on Floyd Street, Southeast, in Covington. Or call 786-9213. Your auto owner's agent.
Auto owners, the no-problem people.
If you're a serious sports fan crying out for serious sports talk, then you need to tune in to WGFS AM 1430 every Saturday between 10 and 12 as we bring you Sports Source Weekly, sports talk for the serious sports fan. Todd Q. Chapman and Kevin Holden will be fielding your phone calls. We'll be discussing a variety of sports on the professional level, collegiate level, as well as local high school sports. That is Sports Source Weekly, heard every Saturday between 10 and 12 with Todd Q. Chapman and Kevin Holden, right here on WGFS AM 1430.
Hello?
Hello?
Morning, sir.
Where are you?
I'm still undercover, eating breakfast at Shoney's.
I sent you there hours ago to find out why everyone goes to Shoney's for breakfast instead of my restaurant.
I think it's Shoney's all-you-care-to-eat breakfast bar, sir.
You think?
Well, I'm only halfway through the 40 delicious breakfast items.
Shoney's breakfast bar features 40 items?
All you care to eat, sir.
No.
At one very low price.
No.
Everything from freshly prepared favorites like scrambled eggs, pancakes, bacon, sausage, to tasty surprises like real buttermilk biscuits and real... sticky buns, sir.
Come back, Ludlow. We've got work to do.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry?
I'm so impressed with their all-you-care-to-eat breakfast bar, I got a job at Shoney's.
But you're my best busboy.
Shoney's is my destiny.
But, son...
See you, Dad. Tell Mom all right, okay?
Okay.
Check out Shoney's Breakfast Bar every morning, but most of all on Football Friday mornings when we bring you the coach's breakfast from Shoney's at Turner Lake and Highway 278.
A plush night from Homer Sharp Stadium right here in Covington, Georgia. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Rams are 4-0 as they beat the Lithia Springs Lions 26-11, and Paul Dailey picking it up in front of the home folks is sweet, going to 5-0 perhaps in front of the home folks against Winder in the sub-region opener. Could be even bigger.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have a big chance of going 5-0, and even better than that. But Coach Cook will tell you, he'd be the first one to tell you that Newton has a reputation of slipping up sometimes against maybe a lesser opponent. He proved us wrong here tonight. Well, we never wanted him to do that, but he proved that he's got a strong team tonight because he didn't let down. He won pretty strong. The scoreboard really doesn't indicate the amount and how big Newton was over the Lithia Springs Lions. But next week when Lithia Springs comes in here, Newton can't let down. They can't think that they're better than that team. Even though the school's not on having a really good year, they got beat by Monroe area. These guys got to take these games seriously because these are the ones that can really sneak up on you. And I think the Coach Cook has learned his lesson from the last couple of years of getting beat by maybe a lesser opponent. But I feel like Newton's going to have a really good week of practice, get those key players back into the lineup, hopefully, and be strong here next Friday nights against the Winder Bulldogs.
That's with 2 G's, by the way.
That's right.
Thought you might want to know that. Rams did a couple of things tonight that they haven't done yet in this season. First of all, they had their first passing touchdown of 1995. The second thing, they scored their first fourth quarter points of 1995. It's nice to shake off those bugs early on.
Yeah, you're right. They had a really well-balanced attack. They had not only ran the ball real well, but Richie Clear threw the ball well. And give some credit to Lithia Springs, too. They showed a balanced attack. They didn't have a lot for the Newton Rams here tonight, but they threw the ball well. They ran the ball pretty well. But one of the key factors is we heard so much about Leonard Benjamin, and he just didn't do anything tonight. He's a quality back. Maybe just had an off night, but he had 200 yards against Clark Central, and here tonight, I don't know if he can gain 50 yards.
37, as a matter of fact, is what Leonard Benjamin gained. But now it's time to move on to some statistics on the Newton Rams side, which will kind of surprise you, a couple of them. One that won't, Jonathan Price, 20 carries, 132 yards. The beat goes on for Mr. Price, averaging 6.5 yards a carry, also scored 3 touchdowns. And here's a little interesting note for you. Tyrus Hardiman, with those 2 big runs late in the game, broke 100 yards. So he had 9 carries for 100 yards there. Otherwise, 9 carries, or 8 carries, 9 yards for the rest of the team, Cleary and also Pete Reed. So for the team, 241 yards rushing, but Price and Hardiman the big story.
Good job there. And, we know Jonathan Price is going to do a good job of getting his yards. He's a quick, slashy runner. It's not very big, but I tell you what, he's a hard person to bring down. But one of the surprises, like you said, Kevin, was Tyrus Hardiman. He came in there, played fullback. We didn't know what to expect with not Patrick Gaither not being in there. They wanted him to concentrate more on defense. But Tyrus came in there, and I tell you what, he's an explosive fullback. He's got the build of a tailback, but he's got a lot of explosiveness straight up the field, and he proved that tonight, gaining 100 yards.
And the passing game was the other story. Richie Cleary right about at 50%. He was 8 for 17 for 121 yards and a touchdown. And that balanced attack is very important because as a Ram team, at least on offense, you want to be able to hit on all cylinders by the time that sub-region schedule comes about. Because as we've said so many times, 8 Quad A South is not easy.
No, it's not easy. And when a lot of people up in Atlanta probably look down here and see the Newton Rams, they're sitting there at rank number 12, and they've only beaten Lithia Springs, they've only beaten Mount Zion, they've only beaten Redan, they've only beaten Heritage. But I tell you what, Redan's not a bad football team. Heritage and Mount Zion may be a little bit of question. They're having tough seasons, but Lithia Springs came in here and gave us a good fight. But the Newton Rams are definitely one of the top teams in Quad A, and if you can beat anybody in Quad A, and we're going to find out how tough Newton is in the next several games, but I feel sure that Newton Rams are well deserving of a top ranking here in this state.
Well, they have been number 12 the last few weeks, and of course they did not move up in the polls last week because every team in the top 15 either won or didn't play, and I don't know if that'll necessarily be the case. My guess is it wouldn't, that won't happen 2 weeks in a row, so you may see the Rams move up perhaps into the AP top 10 by next Friday. It's a possibility.
This is a possibility because there was a couple of key games out there. I can't really think of the ones off the top of my head, but I knew there was a couple of key games involving some of the top teams. So I'm anxious to see the score tonight when I go home and watch the news. And you can call tomorrow at the radio station during the sports talk and get some figures from Kevin and Todd Chapman about the high school scores if you don't catch them tonight. And we'll maybe see the Newton Rams move up in the rankings.
It is distinctly a possibility. Of course, we'll know that the first part of next week. The next time that we will take the field and the Newton Rams will take the field will be next Friday as the Rams take on the Winder Barrow Bulldogs. That will be at 7:30 here at Homer Sharp Stadium. Todd Q. Chapman brings you the tailgate show at 7. The big dog, Paul Dailey, and myself will bring you the play-by-play beginning at 7:30. Only one team in Newton Ram history has ever been 5-0. That was back in 1950. 45 years later, the Rams have a chance to do it again. Don't miss history possibly being made next Friday right here at Homer Sharp Stadium. For our executive producer, Todd Q. Chapman, for Paul Dailey, and a cast of just millions here at Homer Sharp Stadium, Kevin Holden reporting with your final Newton 26, Lithia Springs 11. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to exciting Newton County Rams football on WGFS AM 1430. Ram football on WGFS is brought to you by Bulldog Tire, Coast to Coast Home and Auto, Covington Cable TV, Newton Federal Savings and Loan, Mayfield Ace Hardware, the Bank of Covington, East Metro Communications, Ludy Sports Shop, Shoney's Restaurant, Steele Jones Insurance Agency, and Charles Evans Nissan. The executive producer of Ram Football is Todd Q. Chapman. Join us again next Football Friday for live coverage of Newton Rams football. You'll find it only right here on Covington and Newton County's sports leader, WGFS AM 1430.